You're welcome.
Yeah, we're live. Got it.
Are we live?
We're live. Yeah,
oh,
we are.
Yay! So this is
Live
number.
world, it's the Abracadabra crew.
We are.
Well done, Sarah.
Well done, Terry.
What number? Are it? 13.
Oh, lucky for us.
13. Dermot's here.
Oh, Dermot.
Oh, wow.
Well
Would you
done.
say
That's
done.
wicked, because I can just put my feet up now, can't I?
you can let Dermot do it all.
Dermot.
Hiya, Dermot.
Have you brought your soapbox?
he's got a big one than that now.
Hello.
Hello.
T-shirt. And we're wrapped up
Yeah.
with wool.
God, we got shorts. Look, shorts
Oh,
on.
no, oh my
shorts
God.
Shorts, take. Yeah. Boat living.
Oh, I've
You
not got
like-
shorts on.
You like our bloody postman? Our postmen are still in shorts. Second degrees. Fucking hell, it's bloody 3 degrees and they're in shorts. Chuff me.
It's
They do
cold
it for a
here,
bet.
too. See, I'm wearing,
They're just all fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you how many layers I've got on.
She's still commando though.
layered
What?
look. It's the layered look, Judith.
It
Go
is.
back.
I'm recording it just in case.
In case what?
Okay.
I don't know. I know what our internet's like at the minute.
Right. If it sounds like we're in a spaceship,
Yeah.
it's
We
it's all
are.
the masts
It's
of all
all-
the
all
stuff.
the yacht. It's all the yacht.
It's all the yachts around us.
Yeah, and the wings
They're all humming.
howling at the minute.
And it makes
Yeah.
the masts and all the ropes hum.
Hum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's blowing an absolute hoolie out there.
It is absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got. I think
Yeah.
70-mile-an-hour winds coming in for a whole day.
Mm.
I don't know if that's manifest.
Oh.
Where's Dermot gone?
Dermot's
I
gone.
can actually tell you guys to batten down the hatch.
Batten down the hatch. Yeah,
I
we
know.
have done.
Literally,
done.
I've been out there,
Battening down the hatch.
literally screwing down the engine bay top. I thought if I lose that, it's just going to go woof, smash. So
Yeah.
I've literally been screwing everything down and moving everything in the boatyard that could blow, and it is as well.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you
I
know.
have, yeah.
That big things move from underneath the ramp.
Yeah. So you can try to make a bit of room for you.
Oh, yeah.
It won't really.
What?
Might have to take it, eh?
It's such a little
She's
bugger, isn't it?
Why?
Gets me every time.
It
Yeah,
does.
for me,
It
like.
does. And you
Oh,
fall.
little doggy.
Every time you
Oh,
fall.
hello,
Yeah,
little
I was-
baby.
Rusty's in bed.
He's in our bed, actually in it.
In it. He's actually in it.
Under the
Well,
covers
other
and everything.
night. All snuggled in other night, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're out there working or whatever, and he's just in bed.
All day, every
He
day.
he only goes to the toilet about twice a day now, because it gets too cold for him. So literally, he's like, oh, I don't want to go out there.
No, he does lots of going up out the hatch, onto the top of the boat, realises it's still
Too cold.
freezing, and then comes straight back in again.
Yeah, and then back down again.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
That's
it.
a
So
bit
he'd
like
rather hold on
All day.
and wait
Yeah.
for
Wait for summer,
summer.
spring, summer,
Yeah.
whatever. Really.
yeah.
I don't blame him. To be fair.
We just walk out the
That's
door.
like
and
boys'
freezing.
dog. Boys have a little. It's a cross between a staffy and a whippet, and she's just there. She's as soft as shite. She really is as
Yeah,
soft
yeah.
as shite.
Beautiful.
There's
Yeah.
times when she won't even go out for a pee. It's that cold and
Yeah.
wet. And you can't
don't
make
like
her go
it.
and have a pee.
I don't like getting the feet wet.
No, don't like
Don't.
yeah, his feet wet or whatever.
Yeah.
If
Oh, I
it's
don't
too
like
windy,
this
he won't go out.
cold. Ooh,
Girl
Yeah.
has to do path
Yeah.
for the babies. Yes, when she's little, he has to dig them a path. They won't go out into the snow. Huh.
Yeah, no, he has a good life actually, doesn't he? Considering
It does.
he's half Shar-Pei and half Staffy, so he's got the stubbornness of a Shar-Pei, yeah, and the whinge of a staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But where does the leaning come from?
The staff is.
Is that
Staff,
staffy?
staff is lean all the time. They all got
They
lean
do,
like that all
don't
the
they?
time.
It's
The
constantly
leaning,
leaning.
yeah.
Like leaning
always.
like that. Like,
Yeah,
get
yeah.
off.
Oh,
And now he goes like that. And
Yeah.
and he wants his belly rubbing.
Yeah.
He's like constantly like that, tapping you. He wants his belly rubbing.
And we got anybody like to say anything before we get on the
I'd
way?
love. Oh, I'd
Go
love to
on,
know.
go for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome. Anyway,
Welcome. Yeah.
yes,
Thank you
well,
so much.
Loving the picture.
Oh, thank you. And I'm so humbled to be joining all of you. I'd love to know.
No.
where you-
Oh, didn't
Oh,
have to
no.
do
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
well.
can feel that energy of creation that we always talk about. In Australia here, many of us have stopped responding and we're starting to create, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I
Well, you
wanted
should
to,
say that. I've got goosebumps.
yes, and
Yeah.
where our hearts are breaking, and they've needed to break so that we can expand and the land can expand, and our governance is within, and we're starting to realize this. I wanted to ask everyone where they're from, and I'm sorry if I've missed it on other podcasts, but I'd really like to know where people are sitting, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
that's fine by me.
We're in Dorset,
Dorset, South
which is
Coast.
the south coast of England.
Are you on an island, Juicy and Lucy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I was just off the coast. It's lovely.
Yeah.
I can see
Yeah.
you on an
It
island.
We're,
Yeah, great.
we are
Okay.
on an
Yeah,
island.
we are on an island.
Yeah. Yeah, we're on an island. It's lovely. We actually look at the mainland, and if John's listening, hi John.
Hi, John. It's not France.
It's not France, by the way, John. Yeah.
Got all confused and thought it was France.
Yeah, bless him. He bought a sailing boat and thought it was France across the way and didn't think it was that far away. But
Lots of love, John.
anyway, he
John
made,
and all.
he made it home okay.
He did.
Have you ever
Sorry,
heard of
Judith?
the word?
The what, sorry?
Judith? Sorry, have you ever heard of the word twin flames?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what you are.
Too
You're
sure
like,
on it,
I
but
don't
yeah.
know the word very well, but I heard it the other day, and it reminds me of Juicy and Lucy. It's a
Oh.
little bit deeper. It's a little bit deeper than soulmate. I think that's the other word that
Yeah.
people.
Well, they're both. That's what it is. It's
Is
a
it?
twin flame and a soulmate, because I'm the same with Gerald. Mine. Yeah, my twin flame soulmate. They activate
Yeah.
us and we're
Yeah, she told him that.
Oh, boy. Oh, God.
You're awful. We're awful hateful people.
No.
Terry, where are you sitting?
Peace stick.
I am in Ohio in America. And what was the other question? I have
That's it.
attention deficit disorder. Can you tell?
Can you say that again?
I have attention deficit disorder. Can you tell? What was the other question?
Oh, yeah, no, we've got lots to talk about.
I'm sorry, hon. I didn't hear you.
Let's hope she doesn't start getting ready for bed. Where am I?
So attention.
Usually in the toilet.
She's
so.
usually in the toilet. So she's doing really well today.
I can't. I'll talk
She gets her
later.
best in.
Yeah, I'll talk later about that.
She
And-
gets the best internet in the toilet and the
And
bath.
Judith, you've got a beautiful green. What do they call it? Green light on your face when you turn it.
Oh,
A light face. No, it's great. It's like a little angel.
oh.
Is it an
I
orb?
keep seeing
Are you
that
talking about
sometimes
an
and think, what am I doing wrong? I
You're
think,
doing
"Oh,
everything
it's
right. You got a little green angel in you.
Oh,
Isn't his name Ian? Isn't his name Ian, Judith?
pardon?
Ian.
Was his name Ian?
Ian. Yeah,
Your past husband?
yeah. Oh God, I
That's what I
dare
thought.
say it, but yeah, it's
I'm
10
wondering
years
if that
this
was
time.
but that would probably be his color of his aura, because the way you talk about him, he's very nice, even killed guy.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It
lovely.
stabilized me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why it's so close to you, because he hasn't left you. He's always with you. Are you feeling this too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cobra?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see a child also.
A child?
Yeah.
A child. Oh.
Past, present, or future.
Be Freddie.
Beach ready Judith. Not the minute.
I'm blinking, not I'm not
What
up
beach?
at
Oh
night.
yeah. I call her the Dewsbury as you're told.
What?
Dewsbury as you're told.
I know. I know.
I wonder what
She's from
happened to
Dewsbury,
Germany.
north. Judith always tells me off.
But I live in Halifax now,
Judith, where are you sitting?
on my sofa.
Beautiful.
But she won't stay there long.
I will.
Judith,
I will. I literally
sure?
am that knackered. I'm gonna fly and
Yeah.
get it bath in a bit.
Are you
Yeah.
are you from the north? Where are you from?
I'm from I am from the north of England.
Okay.
West Yorkshire.
Ah,
Where are you from?
I'm from Australia.
Where?
So
I
I'm
mean, what?
from
North, south,
I'm
closer to?
New South Wales. You
Oh,
had a
I
lady
would
on.
know.
You had a lady on
wanna go
here. You had a lady on here
Hello.
last week from Queensland.
Yeah,
And
Cheryl's
I'm a
from
few-
Queensland.
From
Yeah.
where?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cheryl's from
Cheryl, badass Cheryl.
Queensland.
Yeah.
Badass
Cheryl.
Cheryl, we
Hi,
love
Cheryl.
her.
Badass Cheryl.
Probably,
Hi, everybody else.
she's
You're gone.
probably out there kicking ass somewhere.
I was
Princess
born.
Buttercup.
No, you tell it.
I was born in the outback,
Oh wow.
Ooh.
and
Wow.
I went to school in Adelaide, in South Australia, where your other friend is from. Sorry, I'm not good with names.
Dermot.
I'm not good with names.
Dermot?
Dermot.
Yeah, the quirky
Who's
man.
Yeah, the quirky man. That's
Dermot.
Yeah,
Dermot.
you'll be on in a minute. You're listening.
We're all a little
The Soapbox
quirky.
King.
He's not far away.
Lovely.
He is, isn't he?
He is
He
lovely.
is lovely. Yeah.
But right now, I find myself here, and I've been here for 15 years, and I'm 50. So,
I'm 50. I'll be 51 in December.
Yeah.
oh
yeah,
wow,
I'm
happy
50.
birthday.
It's just you.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'll
yes.
get 50.
It's amazing how we're all the same age, isn't it?
I'm not.
You are.
I'll do it.
You are really.
You are.
You just had a big paper round.
Sod off. That'd mean getting out of bed, wouldn't it? God, Bennett.
Judith, she was
Judith doesn't do morning.
the way you ran around that house.
I ain't saying nothing.
Oh.
We've got some like more and more people are standing up in Australia. We've got some really big things happening today, especially. But when we talked about vulnerability, when I saw Lucy's this week, there are so many people.
Yeah.
Sorry, there are so many people standing up that just would never normally have contemplated doing something like this, walking out on the street together. There are people that you couldn't even imagine 3 months ago that would consider doing, standing up, like huge, courageous move for some people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's amazing,
it's amazing.
to watch. Absolutely
It is,
amazing.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And then we were watching.
Somebody shared a compilation of protests that have gone on around the whole world the other day.
Oh my
and
God,
honestly,
I
I
cried so
sat here.
bad.
Yeah.
I sat here beside
Yeah.
myself. It was so lovely, so
It
lovely
was.
to watch everybody coming together and being together and
It was
standing
like-
up for yourself and your rights and your family's rights and
It's a,
everybody's rights.
Yeah. Does
it's
anyone
a
else
crunch point, though,
here?
isn't it?
Yeah. Does anyone else here cry? Like just spontaneous?
Cool, blimey. Don't talk about crying to me. I was on my journeys.
We're
I spent
empaths,
all
honey,
weekend
that's
crying.
why.
I never
We're
cried. I've
empaths,
never cried
so
for years.
we
Yeah.
feel things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all
so
very
there's
emotional.
the spontaneous crying and the letting it go, because we do come from a generation that were asked not to cry, and we're there's a lot of tears in Australia, a lot of tears from men and women, and it's part of the breaking, and it's part of the expansion, and it's connected to the land.
Yeah, I agree 400% on that one.
It's almost like grieving as well, isn't it?
I was talking the other day, and it's almost like when you was a kid and you went on you was coming back off your holidays, and everybody's quiet in the car on the way home because everybody's knackered. Everybody's asleep in the car on the way home, and then you sort of just get home, and then it's that sort of feeling, isn't it?
Yes.
Just now,
Yes.
not recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when you go on holiday, you're all excited, you're pumped up, you're not sleeping, but when you come back, when it's all done and dusted, you sort of like everybody's sleeping, lethargic, tired, and just wants to get home and get into bed and have something to eat and blah blah. It's almost like the end of the I think it's the end of the journey. We all pumped into this big time right at the beginning, weren't we? Like boom, like being so.
And that allowance of feeling we recently took our boy out of school. We have a school that has 100 teachers, and 50 of those teachers refused the vaccine. I can't say it. Refuse the biometric. What do you say?
Yeah.
Refuse we call. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, fucking hell, yeah. We pride ourselves on fucking. We're thinking about doing a night school in it.
All right, we call it the vaccination.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, you hear that? New word out there. If you can't say, you're sick of saying the job, say it's the vaccination.
When you watch the thing, and it's quite. I mean, you've probably people heard it before, but the people that have had 2 of the vaxes are now classed as unvaxxed, the same as that ain't had one. How funny is that? That's fucking hilarious. Because they're not fully vaxxed until they have the next one. It's like
No.
Mind-boggling.
So I mean, I know people that have had them so they can go on holiday, but now they can't because they're not.
I know.
It's fucking bonkers, isn't it?
You know, the other day they said that everybody in Gibraltar were vaxxed. I can tell you one person in Gibraltar that ain't, because she can't come over for Christmas. Now then. Yeah.
Yes, I've been told that it's. I mean, we all know about the programming from generations and generations, but what you know, there's a different frequency now, and the people that we're with now, all of us now here, including many others, we can't tolerate. And when I use the word tolerate, I'm looking for a different word, but we can't tolerate lies anymore. So if someone's telling us a fib, we know straight away with the frequency and the tone of their voice. So when these people get up with their press conferences every day and they start speaking about this number and that number, we know straight away that they're telling a fib.
Yeah, they've opened the mouth. The mouth's moving. You've got to be lying.
Yeah.
And we're saying this before about politicians. This is probably the same all over the world, but it's the one that you see in the UK quite a lot. And basically, you get a politician, they go on the news, and somebody asks them a question which they haven't got the answer for. So they spend an hour skirting around the answer. And the reason is It's not the case that they can't give an answer. They're just not in control of the answer they give.
Yes.
Right.
Ah,
Like
yeah,
here
that
in
makes
America.
sense.
As simple
That
as
makes
that.
sense. Yes.
You literally thousands and thousands of questions have been asked on TV over the last God knows how many years, politicians, and they've all got the same patter. They skirt round a question and they don't
Never answer it. Never ever
never
answer
answer
it.
it. And the reason
No.
is because they're not in control of the answer. Somebody else's. That's
Yeah.
why it's good.
The only ones,
It's as simple as
the
that.
only ones you can trust now is basically amateurs that you know. Well, okay, like I was going to bring it up real quick and get it out of the way. In America, we're have this boy he's just now become a man. Last year in August 2020, Kyle Rittenhouse was put in prison for shooting 3 people. They made it the media, the lamestream media, and it painted it out like this boy was Satan himself and that he is prejudiced and all these things. He wasn't. I saw it. There was an amateur reporter. I mean, it was mayhem too. It was terrible. That city was torn to rubble, like a war. Like a tank went through there. They destroyed a city for this movement that's supposed to be called Black Lives Matter, which makes Black people look like thugs, horrible people. It just makes them look like they're criminals, and they're not. And it had nothing to do with it. Wasn't even racist. The people they had to hire these people. They pulled them off of somewhere because nobody even knew who they were. It's like all these other people that are in the news. And that boy was bum rushed after they pretended to be friends with him and said, "Oh, it's cool. It's all cool," because they acted like he was a horrible person or something just because he was protecting a business. They all had weapons on them, even the people that were so-called peaceful protesters. And that was stated on Fox News, even though most people don't like Fox News. Kyle Rittenhouse said he's seen them all carrying them that night. But they went up after they pretended to be his friend, bum rushed him and smacked him in the head with a freaking skateboard. First, before that, they drop kicked him in the face. I mean, they beat the living crap out of this boy, kicked him while he was down, and I'm hearing the cameraman scream his head off. And I don't want to go into details because it was horrible, and I want to bury what I saw. It was live, and I was sitting in my own home, but I knew it was real. And they're trying to paint this poor boy out to be a criminal, and he's not. And he's not a white supremacist either. He was trying to save us. The people aren't even thinking about it. That was a city, Kenosha, Wisconsin. It was a city. Usually, people that live in the city are from all minorities and all races. There were legal immigrants there that had businesses they tore down. You want to talk about immigrants? But anyway, I'm going to get off my stupid soapbox here, but I just want to say, the boy, leave him alone. He's not lying. He didn't do anything wrong. I watched with my own eyes, and don't act like he's a racist. He's not. And I'm not a racist either. Because what, am I racist against my own blood? Yeah, you can't see it, but yeah, black in me. But either way, I still wouldn't freaking treat people like that. Okay, I'm done with my soapbox. Sorry. Hi.
Well
done, Terry.
I was
Yeah,
talking
well
to
done.
somebody the other day, and we had in one day apparently 11,000 immigrants came over on boats into the UK
In one day.
in one fucking day.
Yeah,
That's
so
what's
you
happening
said.
here.
One day, 11,000.
Mm-mm.
But the thing is, you see them turn when they're coming across. They've got brand new boats, engines, life jackets. Who's funding all? Well, we know who's funding it, but you know, it's all being funded by somebody. All this stuff they have, it's bloody expensive gear. You know what I mean? And there's somebody's opening and pumping up and taking them down to the beach, whatever, to thingy. And 11,000 came over, but they're all
being put up in posh hotels.
Posh hotels, and they have security looking after them all. They get, I think Amy was saying, they get £35 a day spending money, where you've got homeless people and everything on the street here.
And they get 3 hot meals a day.
3 hot meals a day, clothes, an iPhone, everything looked after.
Supposedly, in the States, they're supposedly almost, I think it's almost $500,000. It's like $400 and some thousand they're offering per immigrant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're making jokes over here like, well, we might as well just renounce our citizenship and come back
might-
in. We
yeah.
might have some money.
Get yourself out in a boat
I
and
thought-
then come back
I
on.
thought about that. I thought about getting myself a dinghy, going out there, and then coming back in, and I'd be well off.
Yeah.
But they're all males. I'd say probably 90% of them are all males between about 18 and 30. So you can make from that what you want to make from it, but it ain't good,
No.
Wow.
is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
not
we've
good.
had a lot of international people come in to Australia since lots of people have left their jobs. So they talk about 80% and 90%, but I'm mindful that they're not the correct figures, because half of the school that my boy goes to, they've left. I'm also part of a bigger group where we are moving to a more truthful channel of information, and our group gets those people that you were talking about, Terry, those people that are paid to target our group and send us all sorts of information, including actors who are in like graphic representation, people getting pepper sprayed, and they're all acting. And
Yeah, that's what's been going on here.
and
There's
There's been a
to
lot of
create-
evidence of that, hasn't
Yeah.
there? Over,
Stacks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
deliberately
Actors,
Crisis actors.
isn't there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so deliberately creating, inciting division, inciting, using the words, using the spells, using the words that have momentum. I'm apparently a right wing. I have to remember the words they use. The right wing fascist.
Oh,
So
no.
I'm a right. Yes, I.
Well, at least you've achieved something. Can you like them?
Yeah, we've been accused of
What?
hate,
Hate,
gore,
Right.
weapons. Mm.
Yeah,
what was the fourth one?
There's four, because our website is actually banned
tragedy.
from.
Tragedy's the other one. It's got to be tragedy.
Yeah. No, it's hate, gore, weapons, and
Fear.
violence.
Violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, and the
We've
Sky
been
Sky Broadband.
yeah, Sky Broadband has banned our website. So people who use Sky for their internet, it comes up banned.
Banned.
Our website.
Our
does.
website is wicked.
Wow.
I mean, that's bingo. Isn't it?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And we have wrote and complained, and we've had fuck all.
And
back.
which is nice, because they haven't answered. Yeah, it's the case of they know what damage we can do with a few letters, because the banking saga. Because
Yeah.
so I think they've gone.
They don't even reply.
Don't
with
answer
no
them.
comment.
Yeah, because they're just fucking waiting to fucking wind us up again.
This is the thing. This is the response, the react, the upset, the anger, the fear, and when you dip your toes into that frequency, you can get very tired and very upset.
You've got to do it with a smile on your face, with humour, like I do, like we do. Even though we talk about things that are really not nice things, we always do it with humour, because the universe is humour.
It is.
Spot on.
It really
That's how we
is.
get through. We have to use humor to get through it, or we wouldn't get through this thing called
I've
life
seen
without
that.
humor.
Yeah, humans like it's like a DNA. You know what I mean? It's bigger than DNA. That humour and the way that you act locks you into a certain frequency, and then locks you into the universe, the new universe. Because this one we're in, fact.
Oh, the new universe. So you
Yeah.
know that feeling when you jump, you jump over a cliff and you don't know where you're going to fall. That is a couple of things. That is vulnerability. That is the new system. That is the new system where you can't control where you're going to end up. That is the flow. That is the creation. That is the creative. That is the new system. and they want to, they being the different frequency, the creation, that different frequency, they can't control that. And that is not okay with them. So if they've got you in fear, if they've got you tangled in all that bureaucracy, all that,
it's like, if you fear death, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Because there is no. Because I mean, we've been on loads of different journeys, stuff we're not spoke about because it's not, it's just, again, it comes out when it needs to come out in conversation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like the biggie one that we was on, or one of the big one, was the Tree of Life. Now, the Tree of Life, what we got shown, we lived on the Tree of Death, which is the same as the Tree of Life, but the Tree of Death is eternity because you can't die. It's almost like the Tree of Life was stolen or given away or whatever to what's been going on. And if you live on the Tree of Life, then you can die. Yeah, you haven't got that continuity to do what we do. So, but living on the Tree of Death, which is the same as the Tree of Life, but it's the Tree of Death, it gives you immortality. But if you live within the Tree of Life, the old one, it's mortality because the tree will die eventually, like an oak tree. Hello.
That's the one thing that they had on in the Bible that is, I know that has to be right, is John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, and whosoever believeth him, we shall have everlasting life. Everlasting life means that we're having.
Yeah, we got shown it. I mean, we get things on journeys, but it just. I think Dermot's here, is he?
Is he back?
He's trying to get on.
He's trying to get on.
Again?
And we keep trying to block him, but he keeps trying to get on.
We keep trying to block him. Keep trying to push his soapbox away.
He's fucking persistent, isn't he?
Hi.
Hi. Hi, Dermot.
Hello, Dermot.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, finally, I got it working.
Oh, damn.
Hey.
Hey, brother. How are you?
How are you?
Oh, it's the one. I thought that's supposed to be blue. Okay, now here we go.
Just got to maneuver the sky.
Look at James.
See that?
Like the start of a James Bond movie, then, wasn't it?
It was.
Hey, see that?
Huh?
Yeah.
Adelaide.
Adelaide United. Did you know they're playing their first home game this week? And if you're not double vaxxed, you can't get in, and all those that had a season ticket will not be refunded.
No way.
Wow.
Wow. Motherfuckers not getting their money. That's all they did was piss off people. Sports fans, you don't piss them off.
That's fucking disgusting.
And how many football players have died of a heart attack in the last so many weeks?
Oh, I heard about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't get this
That's
sky
really
right.
bad.
Hang on. Yeah, there you go. The only reason I'm on this week is that I was actually a bit late because it's the first day I can actually sleep in because I'm working tomorrow. Once again, 6 days a week. I haven't even had time to catch up with William either, so that's how busy it's been. But yeah, they've got a competition again this weekend, so I've actually got a bit of time. So I thought, great, I can get on.
Hey.
Give you a bit of mail company.
Thank
Sorry?
you. I even put some glasses on so my match look.
Oh.
I've got something for you.
Hey, I
I'll
even
be back in a minute.
comb my hair for the situation, you know.
Yeah, I want to send this to you in the post.
Oh, I bet you did.
All you need is your surfboard.
Mate,
Oh, it's so sweet.
I can't even swim, let alone surf.
I could never even do skateboards, let alone fucking stand on a surfboard.
No.
I went once and nearly died, and that fuck give this up. It's a bad job.
So I still skateboard. Still.
Do you?
Yeah, we
Good
got a
for
half.
you, girl. Good for you.
Yeah. I wish I
half
could.
pipe. We have a half pipe at our house.
I can't even see in these things anymore.
And we have a mini ramp and a half pipe at our house. And we still
Wow.
skateboard.
That's cool.
That's cool.
That's cool.
We went once years ago when I was about 15, something like that. And then we was down at Newquay because you get big waves down there. You could hire a board out. So I
Are they
thought,
6
okay,
inches?
something like that. Although might be some big waves tonight. we've got a 70. We've got force 12 at the minute, which is probably about 70 mile an hour winds.
Yeah.
It's so
hot
cold
there.
that the water where Newquay, the water is so cold.
It
Fuck
is.
it, it's all cold around here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around the whole of the UK.
People go, oh yeah, it's lovely. And I'm like, well, what's the water temperature? 16. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I ain't going in there.
Well, you know, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire inside is so delightful. This is my favorite time of year. I don't have to
That's
leave.
lovely.
Oh, that's brought tears to my eyes.
You wait till she brings the album out.
I never have to leave in the wintertime. I love it. I love it. I don't have any commitments to make. I can just be myself and hide.
You can
I
hibernate.
sold 2 albums, haven't I?
Yeah.
Can't
My
believe it.
favorite time.
Superstar
Hibernate.
DJ.
Yeah, I've sold 2 dance albums. It took me an hour, 2 hours to make, and 20 years to get it out. It sounds like an artist, doesn't it?
That's
Right,
awesome. That really is.
Tell the young fella what's a dance album. Everything that we listen to,
It's,
you can dance to.
It's loads of tunes all mixed together in all different sorts of ways.
Yeah. Basically, I used to get the old vinyl and then lay them over the top of each other, and then make a whole brand new track out of them.
Okay.
Mash.
Sure.
Yeah, basically. We'll send it to you
Constantly.
constantly.
It's not at the beginning and the end of each track. It's a constant mix.
constant. But no, old school. No, not digital or anything else. It's just literally holding on and then guiding the tunes through each other.
Is that
Yeah,
is that where you had a double console and you scratched the record or something?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
2 decks. And then you got like your equalizer or you in the middle, and you just blend the 2 tracks together and record them. And hold on.
I don't know how they do that.
Hold on. Yeah, you can't let go. You got to hold on because you can feel the energy of the music trying to push one way and one the other. So you have to lock them together and hold them in.
You can literally feel the tension in all the knobs and thingies and stuff.
And some of the tracks on there, you got vocals and they're actually talking to each other. It sounds like one track. It's bizarre. I used to do it all on tits back in the day. So
at your rave, did they ever have laser light shows?
Laser light shows. Not our house.
not our house. No.
Unless Paul went or something.
Oh my God, they just really
The acid was enough.
Fairy light. That's about as far as it went.
The acid was enough.
Oh, but imagine that
Many years ago, we had these purple oms, and we're like, why are they called purple oms? Because I don't know. And then about 20 hours later, everyone's like, I'm sick and tired of looking at fucking purple. Everything was fucking purple for fucking 36 hours. It was an acid trip back in the day. They're called purple oms. And we're like, why are they called purple oms? And we're like, I don't know. Anyway, after about 20 hours, everything was purple. Everything. And we're like, I'm sick and tired. Then my mate goes, can we take it? I've got a green one.
Purple planet. Hello, it's the purple. I mean, everything I see now, there's a lot of purple. People were doing their hair purple. It's like people my age. That's what I've noticed in America. I guess we all decided, I guess, at a certain point, I've been
Is it
waiting so
blue
long.
rinse?
We change it, huh?
A blue rinse.
Blue rinse.
Oh, just a little bit down there, but I got pissed up here. I just can't help myself now. I'm just like, whatever calories.
Jeremy knows what I'm talking about.
What?
I'm glad we're about 5,000 miles away. We're fucked when the borders come down.
So cheeky.
We might have to go hand-to-hand combat, and we can do something funny and do stand-up, and then they'll just stop. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, hey, you say we'll be safe when the borders are open. They've just opened our borders over here, and
Have they?
and lo and behold, we've got 3 cases overnight the very first day here in South Australia. Hello, what's that tell you?
That somebody's lying.
Ah, yeah, big time.
Did their lips?
I don't know,
Their lips moved. The politicians, their lips moved. They got.
Oh, I have to say this. This is it's so funny. You determine if it's funny. We have a premier of the Northern Territory that looks after the Northern Territory, where all the First Nations, a lot of the First Nations communities, the vulnerable communities there, are being taken off the land to the what do they call the camps? The
FEMA camps.
Yeah, the FEMA camp. And I tell you, I really think that the script writer of the Premier is one of us.
Oh,
Because this man, the Northern Territory Premier, has a really bad lisp. And the script writer made him say, Captain Jack's Fish and Chip Shop.
That's fucking so funny. I used to work with a guy, and he had a speech impediment, and right, but he couldn't say fish and chips, that was really funny. So when we used to go to McDonald's, like if you got, he used to always, his favourite thing at McDonald's was a fillet of fish. So he'd be in there, ooh, fillet of fish, please. Fucking, so we keep saying that, it's fucking hilarious.
I know. And there were three people overnight that had the COVID, that they said. And he skimmed, one of them was an infant, and the scriptwriter skimmed over the infant and went into the elderly man that was double vaxxed. And we heard a lot of information about this elderly man that was double vaxxed, and he was at Captain Jack's Fish and Chips shop. You can't make that up.
No, you can't, can you?
it sounds shish and 50 to me.
No, fillet of fish, please.
Oh dear.
Yes, it's quite fishy to me.
What have you actually heard about the Northern Territories and the originals? And is it have they been taken away, or we've seen quite a few videos on it, and
yeah,
it's really been quite upsetting to watch and listen and hear about. And
because we're under the impression that there must be a lot of special forces that
I can answer that.
Yeah.
There is a video by Ricardo Bosi from the Australia One Party, and he interviewed the Aboriginal elder in the Northern Territory that sent out the emergency broadcast to the world that I sent you.
Yeah.
And he interviewed him, and he's the one that is talking to the people on the ground. So
is he?
A good part of what you're hearing is true, but there's also a certain percentage that's not. and it's the old Chinese whispers. So that's why Ricardo has actually interviewed the elder over there, so that they can get the nuts and bolts of what's going on.
Yeah.
But what he's saying is, in a nutshell, they're not dragging them off one by one to a FEMA camp. What they're doing is they're making sure that they cannot leave their houses.
Oh.
Okay, that's what they are doing.
I saw that as well. So I concur.
And is this the is this an army that's been bought in? Say like the as we should call them.
Without giving too much away, there are how can I put it? They're not Australian. Well, maybe part of it is some of the rogue part of the Australian Army, but the majority have been coming in from overseas. The problem that I have with Ricardo and the Aboriginal elder asking for the international community to respond, because it's so easy to say, look, we need help, but remember David Icke saying problem, reaction, solution?
Yeah.
And, they create this, they wait for the reaction, and then they bring in the solution.
Yeah.
Yes, they'll bring in the troops, but they're not going to bring them in for what you want.
No.
And this is where we have to stand up and highlight that and make sure that they're accountable. Okay. And it's not just verbally in the 3D. I'm talking about in the astral, in your everyday thinking.
Yeah.
As William says, you can't influence, or you can't what's the word? You got to have let people interfere. You got to have free will.
Yeah.
So even with the purest of intentions, we have to just send love and prayers that this will dissipate.
Yeah, because you got to be careful, because you're like if you become a dictator by trying to convert people to what you think, so you become a dictator. That is basically it, really.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just as we have as much conviction in what we say and feel and believe, they also have as much conviction in what they say and feel and believe. And this is why we need to dig deep, because this is where we're talking about upset and anger versus compassion and love and care and confidence. And you said before, Juicy, when you're the tree of death, that is fearless. No fear in that.
Yeah, it was just the journey we was on, and it was like, because we've been here for eternity, the tree of death and the tree of death gives us that immortality. The tree of life will die, and we've seen it, didn't we? On one of our travels, we've seen it, and it's almost like they stole the tree of life, or we've given the tree of life, and they've had so many of these tree of lives, and we had this sphere above us. And we was trying. What was protecting us was we was on the tree of death, and when the tree of life finally ends, the tree of death comes into flower for immortality and everything else. So it's almost like we've been walking this timeline of eternity, to make everything real, real.
So you're touching on a lot of things there for me as an Australian and as a person of the land of Australia. We're touching on the land, and the land for a lot of people, for a lot of beliefs, is feminine. And when you spoke about the flower has been oppressed. When this shit show first started, I didn't know what to do. So I bought $500 worth of flowers, and I planted those flowers one by one in my garden. You should see them now. They are talking to each other. They are talking to each other. I've got plants that haven't flowered for 2 or 3 years. They've started flowering. I've got to transplant the flowers because they're talking so much that they're creating more and more and more abundance. The rain is coming. The whole thing is integrated into that land. And those beautiful wise,
that's awesome.
That's really bizarre because we got on the journeys we got shown that the new code is the flower coding of the universe. So we're all individual flowers. We've all got a code in our own individual flower.
And an individual scent.
An individual scent for everybody as well. And then the flower coding of the universe creates the stars, and the stars are relevant to the flower coding. And so at night time,
the flowers shine in the daytime and the stars shine at night.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
So when someone says, I'm helpless, I don't know what to do, get your fingers in the soil and plant a fucking flower. Sorry, I'm just very passionate because
don't apologize, sweetheart. We already said fuck is allowed. That's our favorite word.
Sure, the frequency. You are carried. You are carried through this time. If you are in tune with what we are saying in this group, you are being carried. And when five of us get together, the angels will play. I guarantee you. And when I say angels, I mean totally. I want a different word, but we'll use it for now. So when you place your hands in the earth and you plant a flower, you are creating creation, but you're helping co-create. But you're creating momentum for love and for creation. And it has carried me here. It has carried me to other places. But I want to get back to the First Nations because they are a part of the land, and their wisdom and their cherished wisdom is being valued as harsh as it is for them right now. There's a collective within our communities that is pouring love, and that is pouring energy, and that is pouring care and compassion into their spirit and into their communities right now. And we don't see that on the YouTube because everyone wants to sensationalize the drama.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
this is what we're saying. This is what we were saying a few weeks ago, weren't it? It's because if we always ask with the energies and the energy guys we work with, and they never tell us where we're all from. You know, it's always shady, isn't it? It's always need to know. It's always secret. So I got around by asking, doing different questions and doing different things, and it was almost like the energy guys work, or the energy we work with. Work for us, which is all of us, because we're all one. Yeah. So basically, we come from the creator lineage, and that's why we create with stories.
Yes, and we are such creators.
Aborigines do the same thing. They tell stories, don't they?
They do.
It's the story.
I wish I could remember her name.
Native Indians in America, they tell stories.
Yeah.
I talk with my hands because I'm a storyteller. You know what I mean?
Can I just ask a question? Yeah. Have any of you heard of Stephen and Evan Strong from Forgotten Origins? No.
Sounds familiar.
No, sorry, no.
Well, they were at Uluru for the December 21st last year for the activation of Uluru. Now, I've brought Stephen and Evan to Adelaide on 3 occasions, and through our association, I was an honorary Ramangeri, which is a tribe in South Australia, and their leader, Elder Kano, who unfortunately has passed away. But in that story, Kano was trying to explain to us how Australia needs to unite, and very, very quickly. And this is the stuff that, like you say, does not go online. But by shining our light in everyday life with love and compassion and planting and all that sort of stuff, that is what emanates. And like William and I said, it anchors the light into where you are, and it repels all that darkness, negativity, and tree of death nonsense, and it will dissipate very, very quickly. So this is what we've got to focus on, is not revenge. Look, I'm all for the protest, but personally, I'd just like to transmute that energy and push it out.
Yeah.
With the protests that are happening, and they're calling them protests, and we've got to be careful because we're using the old system words.
Yes, exactly.
Those gatherings that are happening, people who are 30 plus year career nurses and doctors and police officers are talking, and when they talk, and it's not broadcast on your mainstream media, but when they talk, they speak of unity, and they actually for 99.9% of the people, they create that momentum that you're talking of, Dermot. They create the love and the compassion and the care, and people go into those gatherings feeling quite despondent, but they leave feeling like they've actually in touch with their own love and their own heart.
Most of the people that are 35 and younger, maybe even under 40, haven't actually lived what we have lived. You see, we're very lucky, that people that are in their 60s and 70s, we've experienced the old ways, the current ways, but we also know what the future's going to be. So we're very lucky that we've got that perspective to pass on to people.
Yeah. We've seen the shift as well, haven't we?
When they're ready to receive. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
But like we've said many times before, we don't have to interfere or tell people. What we do is we just talk like we are now.
Yeah.
And it's putting it out into the consciousness.
Yes.
So that when people are ready, they'll switch the radio on. And I don't mean the radio, I'm talking about the frequencies of the universe. And they'll tune in when they're ready. And by golly, they're waiting.
Yeah, and it's there for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is work, isn't it?
Yeah.
And by the way, Stephen and Evan Strong are also having another, I think it's a webinar, and it's going to go right around the world because it's like a meditation. Because if you remember last year, we all meditate. I wouldn't say I meditated, but what I did, I went by the seaside and I looked out towards Uluru, and I just sat there and just watched nature peacefully as the sun was setting.
Yeah.
And no kidding, all around the country, people were giving Stephen and Evan some magnificent stories, where one lady, I believe it was in Tasmania, sat down in a field to meditate, pointing towards Uluru, and just one cow came up beside her and just sat with her. Never.
Wow.
No communication. But this is what we're talking about with the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, and the
one consciousness.
Of everything.
Yeah.
When you were given the vision or the journey about the storytelling, because I've been given information about stories this week. In order to create a story, you need in a traditional model, in an old system, you need a protagonist and an antagonist and a conflict. And that's how a story is created in the old system. Were you given any information about the new system? Because I see stories being told very differently in the future.
Yeah.
I see that we're not allowed to forget what's happened, because it can happen again. So we this stepping into each life is like you got an afterlife, and this stuff. But afterlife means you don't have to die for an afterlife. That's what I thought yesterday, and this is what I think now. That was life then. This is life now. There's an afterlife. So all of us, because of what we're learning so fast, it's like that was life then. This is life now. This is life then. This is life now. It's all, so how many times have we
had another life?
Had another life?
Yeah.
By one conversation or something that's happened, it's like we've left that life behind now and we've stepped into this one. And we can look at that one and go, wow, that's where I was then and this is where I am now. So afterlife doesn't mean you got to go, because the thing is, all this I think is also a health and safety manual of what can never happen again in the universe or anywhere else. It's almost like that's what I feel when I'm on a journey. It almost feels like things are put in front of us to deal with, on the journeys we go on. Yeah, so it can't happen again because we know about it. So we have to take that physically with us wherever we go, because this sort of like stepping into this sort of 3D, you're stepping into this life or whatever. You don't know where you've been before. That's all got to go, because otherwise it can happen again.
Has anyone here experienced deja vu in more recent times?
Every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
No, there's a reason I'm asking this question. Okay.
Did you just ask that? Sorry, go on.
Are you going to share that, Rick?
Yes, gentlemen. I had to run in here. Yes, like the deja vu, and I have my own thoughts, but please go on.
Well, in the very near future, it's going to dissipate very, very quickly. Dissipate, yes, because if you heard Alex Collier talking the other day, he was saying how the timelines have now converged to two, and they're slowly going into one, which is what we have all been wanting, and it's the positive one, because. And all we're doing now is playing out the final act.
Yeah.
Which is
we've seen that, didn't we?
We've seen that on a journey.
We've seen that on a journey. It was like
it was like.
Yeah. Sorry. The only reason we get deja vu is because of the timelines switching from one to the other.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's one of our superpowers. We tread many parallels.
So when it merges, it will dissipate completely.
Yeah.
Deja vu, that is different than synchronicity, or is it the same?
I don't know, because now I think that we're feeling parallel lives too.
Because I get the synchronicity. I get a synchronicity all the time. And I feel like that are two different things. So I might be thinking of the synchronicity, because when synchronicity comes, I'm told that this is the new measure of time. The new measure of time is synchronicity. All that construct of 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, that's going to dissolve. We're going to have it, but it's not going to be the measure of making a decision or a measure of completing a process. The measure of making a measure of creating relationships. So when you have synchronicity, that will be your measure of decision making.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The synchronicity is the new way. Deja vu is the old way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did that, didn't we? About 20 years ago, we was taking out the deja vu box and then was putting in, or trying to explain to people, putting in the no doubt about it box. So taking out the old deja vu box and putting the no doubt about it box. And
I love that.
Yeah, and then was going, right, now then, take out the deja vu box and dump that, and put in the no doubt about it box and go, and then just start off with no doubt about it and load it in like a coin. Clink, 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 clink. And then people are like, fucking hell. But it worked with people because it was just a case of, okay, if there's a deja vu box, throw that away and put in the no doubt about it box. And then every time you work something out, put a coin in or whatever into that box, clink, and load it in. Because everybody's got doubt. Doubt. So if I was trying to explain to people, if you can just put one little coin in there, no doubt about it, coin in there, clunk, let it lock in there, and then all of a sudden the other, no doubt about it, lock onto the same coin. If in that little money.
Yeah, you said start off with one little one.
One little one.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Doesn't matter.
No, as long as it's no doubt about it, put it in there.
Put it in there, clink. Because everybody got doubt, but doubt. So I was saying to people, deja vu is a nightmare because it's almost like it's just one of them things. And to get rid of that and put a little box in, yeah, no doubt about it, box. And every time you got it works them out, no doubt about it, drop it in there, and it just breaks that. Poof.
There you go. You just planted a seed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is a seed.
Yeah.
That is a seed.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And see, when we used to go clubbing years ago, I used to play a game called Vulnerability Availability. Yeah. So, but you can do it for fun. You can do it to help people, or you can use it for wrong. So basically, in the clubbing world back in the day, everybody used to always have a story to tell, and used to try and fuck somebody else's head up in the club when they're off the tits. So they try and fuck the head up, which then made
It's like a game.
Like a game. So it made you buzz more, and they was buzzing off it, and you was buzzing off it. Yeah. So I was like, right, I've got some things to say. So I used to sit in a club, sitting quite open. So that's available, yeah, because you're open. So then people would come over, sit by the side of you, trying to fuck your head up. Then you go, right, bang, fuck your head up, right, done them, right.
Yes.
I never had such synchronicity in my life. Speaking of synchronicity, we're all in sync, because when you're talking about something like the topic we're on now, it's like we're all going through this. We've all been processing this in our mind, all these things, and we're all at the same time. We're like, why we're agreeing, and we know. And thank you for bringing up the whole deja vu thing.
No worries, Judith. Just a quick question. What's he on about clubbing? Clubbing in our day was banging someone across the head.
Don't be fooled by Judith. You know what I'm fucking talking about.
Oh my God.
Being in the building trade.
It's what I'm going to get when she gets fucking down here.
Yeah, in the building trade, he used to get a 4x2 and club someone, you know.
You will pay.
Indeed. He used to use 4x2s.
Yeah.
What? What?
That clubbing, is that what we used to call the old disco days, or the rock and roll?
Yeah.
It's a disco.
Basically, back in the day, we used to go out to say a nightclub. Yeah, but these nightclubs were basically put on for people on recreational club, house music, and then so you've got like-minded people all in one place. Yeah. So basically, you didn't have people that were pissed up or whatever. It was everybody on ecstasy.
There was never any trouble, or
never any trouble. You had no coppers down there at all. Never, because they knew there's going to be no trouble.
Back in the day, we used to watch live bands and get absolutely smashed, whether it be the old whoopee weed or the alcohol, you name it. We were totally off our face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you go, when you come out, but you see this is weird, right? Because
maybe you experienced this as well.
Yeah, when we first met, I remember going out clubbing, and you come out there and you'd be fucking absolutely buzzing your tits off from what you'd been on, and you're like, whoa. And then when you used to look around the street, I used to call them swamp monsters, because you seen people in a different way, right?
Yeah.
And it basically not everybody.
It's kind of like the movie where they live. You like look around.
Certain people, they had ill-fitting clothes, and the body was all jackaled and fucked up, and they used to shuffle round. And I'd be like, fucking hell. But when you're walking down the street, then all of a sudden you see a normal person, as in like they didn't have that look, and you both look at each other and then look at what was around you. And it was like, fucking hell.
Saw the lizards.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. Because I know the fucking Martian bastards have got something to do with this. Old school Martians. I'm going back.
Back in our day.
Not within.
Back in our day.
Back in our day when we was a twinkle, literally a twinkle.
When we were clubbing in cave, you know.
Dinosaur. Tyrannosaurus Rex, everything. Don't invite him again.
Oh yeah.
Because somebody's talking about global warming the other day, and I'm like, listen, the dinosaurs did what 65 million years or whatever. They did really well off global warming. And they go, what makes you think that? I says, because they couldn't find fucking clothes big enough to fucking wear, so it must have been pretty fucking warm.
Right.
There you go. Judith, you said you're from. Where did you say you were from, Judith?
Me? I'm from Yorkshire, West Yorkshire.
Oh, yeah.
Lancashire's nicer, isn't it?
Well, I am from Lancashire, yes, but but I was born near Littleborough.
Where?
I was born near Littleborough.
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 I don't know Littleborough.
Okay, you've got if you go on the line from Leeds to Manchester, you know the train line.
Oh, I do know Littleborough. So that's in West Yorkshire.
Is it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Or Lancashire.
She won't go across the border.
Yorkshire is Littleborough.
I don't.
And that ain't fucking what, because she's not allowed to.
No, I was born in Wardle, which is Birch Hill.
That's it. Wardle is definitely Lancashire.
Yes. Right, and it's between Rochdale and Littleborough.
All right.
I love this.
Rochdale
I love to hear about you guys' cultures and stuff.
Rochdale's Yorkshire still, isn't it?
Oh, give over. Is it Eck? Is it Eck?
She's moved the border now.
Hey.
You think you've got problems with borders?
I'm no bloody good one. I
It's been
hated
going on
geography.
in England for fucking
I
years.
hated geography. I really did.
You might have won the War of Roses, but you're not claiming any territory. Come on.
I would put Kel on.
Ah, dear.
No, I'm going to beat off.
It's like deja vu, isn't it?
When deja vu. So growing up, when we were growing up, and we had some of the First Nations around us, it would often be the start of a conversation, like, where are you from? Where were you born? Where was your land from? Where are you born? And that's how your conversations would start and they still do with the Indigenous of Australia. And when my husband and I were married, we got some earth from the place that I was born and earth from the place that he was born. And that was part of our ceremony to unite in marriage. And
oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I was born in a place called Burra in South Australia.
Oh, you're kidding me. I just got tingles down my body because my sister has a property in Burra and my parents lived there for 10 years. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, so my grandfather and his grandfather and yeah, so that's the history of where the earth, it was where I was born, was Burra.
Oh, it's so peaceful there. Unfortunately, my parents had to move back to the suburbs because my father was getting close to passing over and we needed them closer. So unfortunately, I don't get to go up there as often anymore. But I do miss those days. I used to go up there quite regularly.
I haven't been there for 20 so years. I don't know. I can't even remember the last time I was there, but
beautiful place.
Yeah, it was warm there, yeah.
Dermot, I was telling Lucy and Juicy and Amy and some other, I think Judith was there as well. I was born here in America, but I was born in a little tiny town called East Liverpool.
Oh.
No, really?
I had 59.
Calm down, calm down.
Like, what are the odds? What are the odds? You can't make this shit up.
Now listen here. William supports Liverpool, and I support Manchester United.
I support y'all, so because we're one, so it doesn't matter.
if only you knew the rivalry over there. Oh my God!
Cool, blimey, isn't it? Yeah.
Is this a sports rivalry thing? Is this a sports thing that you guys are talking about?
Tribal.
Yeah.
It's almost tribal.
It's more than
I love
tribal.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I love
it is.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I quit watching sports here because they're so disrespectful. Because, okay, like I know we don't really know our history, but what a history I know and I remember is that people fought, and the reason they wrote the Star Spangled Banner was because the man that wrote it was Francis Scott Key, and he was in this boat, and he's a lawyer, and he came before we were attacked from the British. So don't get mad about this. This is just supposedly our history. But they stayed. Those people stayed in there and would not. The women and children would not quit. And they were not the children, but they piled up their bodies, holding up our flag in the war. And it's sad. After the smoke cleared and everything. So this is how we got the song, because the rockets red glare. But when everything cleared, after they bombed them, they saw the next morning that the flag was at a funny angle, and they realized why. When the smoke dissipated, it was the bodies that were holding our flag up. So whenever we see these young kids disrespecting our flag and taking a knee, it tends to piss us off. So we don't watch sports in America anymore.
Yeah,
that's the way it is around here. You're like, hey, I can't. No, that's just wrong, man. You're disrespecting people who died, even though they think it might have been for a wrong cause and they didn't know that. They thought they were doing something to save us or save the people in their village. And they were like, the story goes that as long as they have that flag, they'll keep on bombing and put it down or surrender or whatever, and they would not surrender.
A lot of this is coming to the surface so that we can cleanse it and get rid of it, because we don't need it where we're going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We don't need it. We don't need it.
I think I think all their energy's been stripped away from them. That's why they've got to come physically and come to basically their energy where they use what they used to use to sort of like rule everything. I think that's all gone now. They haven't got any energy to sort of like brainwash you or to make you do things. That's why I think they've had to come to the surface, and then now it's a physical thing now, isn't it?
Yeah. The generations of light that have been coming down into the earth. Just dissolving it all. Like you said before, Dermot, about the sharing and the emulating of the light. I was reminded the other night or the other day how many fingertips does it take to turn a light, a whole room? Sorry. How many? It takes one fingertip to turn on a light of a dark room, a whole room, one fingertip. So this is what we're dealing with, and this is really, really interesting. We still don't know how powerful we really are. We really don't. Right. But we're on the cusp now.
I don't think we're allowed to know until we get full control of it, because I think that's how powerful we are.
Juicy, I was given this exact same information. I was told it's like the Japanese tradition. When you're learning something in Japan, they don't tell you all at once because you wouldn't really know.
They won't. So will they? I ask questions and I don't get. I like that. And it was all quiet.
Yep.
It's like,
and they'll give you a little bit, and you'll go, "Oh, come on, just tell me what it is." And then
I'll ask something else ridiculous, and they go, "That's it." And I'll go, "You're taking the piss," and they go, "Yeah." Like,
yeah. And this is the we're so eager to get on with it, and we're asked to just integrate it by bit by bit by bit.
Yeah, and I do. Go on.
Sorry.
Go on, fire away, damn it.
I was just going to ask, have you heard of the rainbow serpent being awoken?
Yes. Yes.
You know, it's funny. I've been given the numbers. I've been given the numbers of the frequency of this, of the rainbow spectrum, where it converges with the frequency of sound. So I've been given the numbers.
Oh my God. Sorry.
No, I said the rainbow
there.
serpent.
Yeah, but you don't understand. So there's a frequency, a particular, not tangible, but a particular known frequency that converges the 7 rays of light with sound. And the 7 rays of light are the rainbow spectrum.
Yeah, seven's coming up a lot, yes.
So 7 rays of light, it's the same thing. So if you look at the philosopher like Steiner, Rudolf Steiner, you look at his motifs, he's always doing the rainbows. If you look at this frequency in a little bit more detail, you'll see that the 7 rays of light are converging with the sound, and that frequency is 5 to 8 megahertz. Now, I'm no scientist. My brain, it doesn't work that way. It's just information that wasn't human form. They just give it to me. They didn't tell me straight away. This is the thing. They told me about the frequency being a part of creation. It goes intention, frequency, sound. But they didn't give me the number until later on, until I integrated that knowledge. The number, and that number will change, may change, but for right now, it's what you're saying, Dermot. It's that rainbow serpent. It's that, this is the intel, the wisdom that our First Nations had.
Correct. And that's why I brought it up, because the top of South Australia and the bottom of Northern Territory, a serpent has arisen. And with Uluru activating, it's only a matter of time before we transmute this energy. Yes, we're getting all that negativity and that media coverage, but what they can't stop is this consciousness rising and affecting the grid lines all over the world in a positive way.
Yeah.
You know, when we talk about they, you know, the reason we can see the dark and we can see they is because we see it in ourselves. So when we talk about they, I feel like we're always talking about ourselves. So when we talked about this at the very start, when we talk about vulnerability, when we stop responding to the stories of the drama and the stories of what they're initiating, and we start creating, then we dissolve it a lot faster.
Correct.
Absolutely. Because they're the only 2 emotions and words you need to take control of. Vulnerability is availability. Availability is vulnerability. It's them 2 words and them 2 emotions. If you take them and you put them in your pocket, they're mine now. It ceases to affect you anymore. The news is vulnerability, availability. So you're vulnerable because of what they're telling you. Yeah, availability. One of them, and then if you're available, as in like, you're vulnerable. So then 2 words just keep rotating and rotating and rotating. You can put any spin on it that you want, and from them 2 words comes every emotion, every thought pattern I feel, and everything else from them 2 words. Vulnerability is availability. Availability is vulnerability. By taking control of them words. We use it, Dermot, for humour. Because you do. We use it for niceness, because we like and go, no, you know what I mean? Go, no, idiot. You know what I mean? But we use it for humour. Yeah, and to do that, and then that's why people resonate with us, because vulnerability and availability is what the universe and how they've portrayed it. So it's part of the relevant to and from of what's going on around us. Yeah, so we use that as humour. So you tell somebody, we have to. We tell somebody some true facts, and then we spin it into a bit of humour, and then they laugh, they release, and they take the information in.
Yeah, the release. Yeah.
The love. And that's how William and I operate, because we just couldn't sit there and be serious for an hour and a half. That's
Oh
just
God,
not on.
isn't it? Yeah.
That
Yeah,
would
how
be
boring would that be?
There's no energy in it. There's no
Yeah.
energy. You become mono. You know, just
Yeah.
like this, just one long tone. It's got thing, like I said before. We've said before, the new universe is all about humour, and that
Yeah.
humour is like a DNA switch that locks you into it. You've either got it or you ain't got it. And all these bad guys, it's like watching a James Bond movie with the little private army.
Yeah.
A really, really bad movie.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Really bad.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It
Real shit uniform.
We
Yeah.
decide if we want to be the characters. This is the thing that we don't quite get as a collective. We decide if we want to take that role on. We decide if we want to step our toes into the drama. We decide how we're going to enter the day.
I believe we decided long before we even came here. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did we jump or was we pushed?
Ah.
You
know.
lot are idiots. You go and do it. What the fuck? Fucking hell. Here we are again.
I used to get so upset with my father. He used to play with words all the time. He used to do what you do, Juicy. He used to play with those words and use words really, just really peculiarly. And I didn't know why. And I just know, one light switch went on and I now know why. And it's incredible what we can do with words. Words are explosions of creation in themselves.
Abracadabra, the word.
Yeah. And it's female as well. Female. No. I used to do a joke years ago. We used to go out to a house party and there'll be a light switch and I'll be sitting there going flick, 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 flick. And then every now and again I'll get my lighter and go like that. And they go, what the fuck are you doing? Because I'm making sure the light switch works. We nearly got chucked out of a nightclub once because we was going around wiping the work surfaces and doing this, looking for dust. And look, you do that once more, you're out. We were like,
Oh dear.
The Uluru. So we were investigating because something funny, peculiar. We flew down to Sydney. So the Premier told me that I wasn't allowed to fly because I'm not vaccinated, and
Vaccinated.
the vaccinator.
I'll
be back.
I rang up the government, and then I rang up the airline, and then I rang up the hire car, and then I rang up the accommodation, and I was like, so what the Premier is saying to us and what is actual law might be two different things. So I flew last week, and unfortunately, the world that Australia is at the moment, because we've got a lot of people who have left their jobs, a lot, and the first plane ride we were delayed 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And we had to get on, we had to get off. The plane ride back we were delayed an hour, and the world, like the nation is cracking. It is cracking. You see the cracks. So
you do, but just remember this: you're using the old technology of the plane instead of going back to the roots, which is walking and using a car or a horse or whatever. And we've got to get back to that. We have to get back to that.
So the reason I flew was because I could. Yeah, and because I wanted to see, because I'm not in that world at the moment, and I wanted to see what was happening in that world. There's no way I could last a day in it, but I wanted to see what was going on.
It's bonkers, isn't it?
Have you heard of remote viewing?
I do that. I can
yes. Yep. Oh, Uluru. So we're investigating.
Learn how to do it.
Yeah, thank you. I'm thank you, Dermot.
Look,
okay.
we are. Sorry, I can't see you, so I don't know when you're talking. Sorry.
No, that's all right. I remote view. I've been remote viewing since I was a child.
There you go.
But Uluru is interesting because we're looking at going to Uluru, and me with my naivety and going, well, what they're saying and what's law is two different things. But my husband said, oh, darling, I'm not sure if we can get to Uluru because there's something special going on in Uluru.
Look, we all want to go there. We all want to physically be there. But unfortunately, right now, we have to let the final act play out and then we'll all be there. Don't worry about that.
You know, when we don't have to be there physically, Dermot.
But I think we will have to be there physically. I think that's one of the reasons why I don't know why I had to wait.
Not yet.
But yeah, we got to be a little physically.
Everything's time related, isn't it? Yeah. Everything is time related. Absolutely everything.
Exactly.
We'll be there. We'll be there when we are needed. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
That
oh my
is
God!
the
This is giving me shivers. When we will be there when we're needed. That is exactly it. Oh my God! I'm over here like.
Yeah. The future's already happened. The expanding future. All we're doing is playing it out. We live in the expanding. We live in the expanding future. So it's future. There is no past. But we remember the past. So the expanding future creates the future creates the present. So expanding future, what we're going to grow into, creates everything here.
It reminds me of Back to the Future, where you've got two timelines of 1985. Yeah. Well, this is very similar now. We've got two parallel timelines that are eventually converging into one because we've gone into the future to come back in time to rectify what we fucked up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why.
Did we project ourselves into, like saying, projected yourself into the future to see what would happen and go, all right, we can only go so far. We've got to do this before we can carry on.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. They use the looking glass technology. We don't need to.
No.
I want to talk to you about where that is. So when I say when we say what was I going to say? First of all, when I say angels, actually, that's right. I was going to say I asked, well, since I was a little person, who am I getting these messages from? Who was speaking to me? Because we're getting messages a lot when we're built like we are. And I wanted to know who was giving me the messages, and I was told it was me in the future. And I refer to them as angels because people are more comfortable with that. So whatever that means.
It's our future selves.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And so you
your
always
higher consciousness.
That's what looks after you.
Yep. So when you're
how many near misses have we had, and we're still here because it's your future self looking after you. And something's coming like this, and then something it changes that timeline and takes it away and opens another one up.
Yeah.
Don't go running off cliff, people. I want to test that theory. Let's not go that fucking far. It's got to be organic, not moronic.
I'm going to go, Lucy.
You going to?
Thank you, Julie.
I love you. Lots of love.
Send me some photos of the snow.
I love you so much.
Bye.
Bye. See you later.
Ta-ra. See ya.
Ta-ra.
See ya.
Ta-ra.
I love you.
I'll have to go now.
I love you.
Getting ready for shoveling snow off the driveway in the morning. She go around all the locals cleaning the snow off.
She's so lovely.
She's lovely, isn't she?
I love her. I freaking
She's
love
so
Peter.
lovely.
And what
She's
I'll tell you what she is.
sister.
She's a shining light that, you know, for her age, yeah, and she sees everything as it is, yeah, and she knows it's all a load of fucking bollocks, yeah. So there's no excuses for other people her age not to see the same thing.
Exactly, just like we feel at our ages, at all different ages, because like Amy is younger, and Darwin is a different age than I am. Me and you are like the same age, and so is White King Cobra. We're all the same age, but you know, there's Jack. He's a young kid still, you know, but we can't understand why our generations are going. We're like looking at him going, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Especially Gen X. I know we are. We're like we're the no nonsense. Gen X. We're the no nonsense group. We're like, okay, bullshit. We're the ones that go, I call bullshit.
Yeah. I've been led this. I'm not sure if you probably already know it, but it's the why. It's why some of us are like we are. So when you haven't had that many incarnations in human form, you have one foot in spirit. So you come down into your human form, but you have to get used to the five senses because you're not used to them. You haven't been around them for a while. And when it's almost like you've been an angel and then for a long time, and then you're asked to come into a human form.
Honey, it's not almost like we are angels. Let me tell you right now, we are the archangels.
I understand, but we're extensions, so we're within human form. So what makes us talk to each other now in human form are the five senses.
Yes.
And that is
nine.
That is why I have trouble with patience, or you've been told that because we're integrating angels into human form and they haven't been in human form for a long time. So we're going to have to get used to the five senses. So that makes us sensitive to the five senses. And that can manifest into ADHD, anorexia. It can manifest into all the programming that they've given us and the labels that they've told us what we have. But in fact, it's just us integrating into the five senses. And we're not used to the five senses. So it's going to take us a little longer than other people, other humans.
Yeah.
Because we've got 1 foot.
It really does make sense.
You've been squeezed in.
Yep, we've been squeezed. And we're not grounded. We're not grounded because we haven't been in human form for a long time. So we've got 1 foot in the spirit.
Beetlejuice.
1 foot. Yeah, 1 foot is always
exactly like Beetlejuice.
It is like Beetlejuice. I said this years ago. I know what I know, but how do I convey that into a language?
Right, and then we're all getting together, and we're all here, and now finally we're conveying.
Do you agree with me, Dermot? So I've always known what I've known, but how do I conform that? How do I convert that into a language or into a?
So it took a collective to make the words right for each culture to understand. It took a collective of us to get this message out there finally. Hey, we're sorry we're so fucking weird, but we're all going to explain why now. Right?
Well, here's the thing. When I was 1 year old, maybe 2 years old, I remember my mother changing my nappy. And this is ridiculous, right? But I remember that, and I remember my thoughts. And I'm thinking, why are you doing this? And I looked at my arms. I looked at my arms and my legs, and I'm thinking, what are these for? I don't need these. What are they for? So I was actually getting used to the human form again. So I knew way back then. That's over 60 years ago.
That's so weird. I knew I was always drawn to these kind of people, but I never realized what I was until the last couple of years. And I used to like hear little kids say they were so and so from the past, in a past life. And I was
I
I
say that,
resonate with that. I used to
Sadly.
resonate with that. And then it took me a while, but then I realized, you know, a lot with learning, with meditation and whatnot, my suspicions, because I question everything. People have no idea how much I question everything. Don't get in my fucking head, okay? So I got all these questions popping around, bebopping in my head like a damn pinball machine. And it's all day long. And I'm so thankful for marijuana, but now it's like more in perspective. Like they're like aha moments now. They're not just me asking the questions. It's me actually answering it. Because the next couple of days, one of you fuckers that I love so much answers it for me. Because then I'm sitting there going, like nobody can see me half the time. If we have more people, I know they can't because the green thing has to light up. But I'm just going, yeah. And I'm shaking my head and I got to turn off the damn thing. Exactly. I'm with you. I got you. And I can't say anything. And I'm just like, I'll get in sometime. Everybody will figure it out.
I want to give you some information. When I was remote viewing recently, I was told that I was very clever, but I wasn't as clever as the force that is here, that is trying to move, to control
That's
us.
what they want us to think. That's what they're trying to get in our head and get in our ego.
Let me finish. Yeah. So there's a couple of things I want to say. So I was told by the children, this I'll call them star seeds. I'll call us star seeds. I was told by these children that some of the children that are being trafficked. I'm not sure what I can say, or what should I not say. I was told that I was clever, but not as clever as this thing. But we are clever when we unite. But I also want to say, you know how you were talking, Terry, about we were growing up and we were told we were weird and we were told we didn't fit in and we were told this and we were told that. You're a space cadet, you're out there. There is a reason. There is a particular. Like
drowning out, and they call it ADHD, and they're like Earth Terry or whatever.
There is a particular agenda and reason that we were spoken to like that, and we were labelled in that way. There is a particular agenda to that. Does that make sense?
Keep us all apart.
It makes us supposed to make us feel like we're not intelligent.
We're all the same flame, aren't we?
In actuality,
when we all come together, we're fucking dangerous.
In volume.
Yeah. We're dangerous in the most loving way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. They can't. They don't even know.
Don't fuck with us.
They don't even understand.
We're like Care Bears on freaking speed. We're like.
No, it is though, because we're all. I call it. I say that we're all carrying individual keys of the starship, and it's almost like all the keys are coming back together, which then rebuilds the starship. Because I think the starship is the flower of the universe. So by us all coming back together and locating them keys back into the starship, we all become one again. It's almost like we strip the shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen what you see, and I've also seen what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So they are trying to create that flower that you're talking of. They're trying to create it with the particles inside the body, and they can create it, but not successfully.
Right,
because
it's like when they up the clones, that's, you know, now we don't know if it's a real person.
It's not that. Mother Nature will kick ass.
Yeah, Mother Nature, exactly it. Because you can't create what we are. You just can't. No. And people are getting sick and people are dying. But I've seen the geometric shape of these particles, and it's like what we're created, what nature is created from, but it's black. It's black as black.
We've seen that as well.
Is that the non-entity that we was dealing with a while ago?
That's the non-entity.
Well, I've seen it on the geometric scale. I've seen it as the flower scale. I've seen it in the geometric pattern. I don't know how else to say it, but haven't seen
like
it.
the underworld, like in a mythology, they would call it the
David
underworld.
Icke talks about it as well, doesn't he?
What's about the non-entity?
About the non-entity, but he calls it Watika.
He calls it Watika. We had it when it came onto the light and started to grow, and we was like, what the fuck? And I remember grabbing it, and it was literally the energy. I had it in my hands, and it was like screaming like a.
It was such a high pitched
scream. Because what happened was, I mean, I spoke about it before, but what happened was we were sitting in the lounge, and then a big square was sort of like opened up in front of us, and it's almost like a
we got shown like a copy of Earth got put into this
square. It dropped in front of us.
Like a black tunnel, wasn't it?
Yeah, it dropped in front of us, and it went straight down like that,
and banged on the bottom.
And we heard it go boom on the bottom. We're like, fucking hell, did that clear, or did that just sit on the bottom? And they wouldn't tell us, but all the energy guys was underneath it, bolstering everything all up and doing stuff and blah, blah, and they filled it all in. And after 3 days, this black energy came up out the floor, exactly where this earth was dropped. It came up.
It fixed itself to our fairy lights.
Fairy lights. It started to grow.
It started pulsing and growing.
So,
and it was pure black.
Almost like black smoke. And I remember looking at it. It looked to me, it had like this, like a squeak. And I went, almost like the energies was telling me, that's it. And I looked at it and it went, fucking got you. I remember grabbing it in both hands like that. And I held it in both hands. And I sort of like named and shamed it and coded it, because I know it was a non-entity. So a non-entity isn't even allowed to know itself, otherwise it becomes an entity and poof, it's gone. So it kind of cancels itself out. So I remember grabbing it, and as I'm grabbing it, I was like, hold on really tight. It went screeching out through the window, and then it was heading for the sky. Squealing. And then all of a sudden, it went bang in my hands. It just went boom. Into like dust particle, wasn't it? Just
like an eel, almost like an eel, but and then
like soot out the chimney.
Yeah, it like soot out of the chimney falling around us. And I was like, shit, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
But then all the energies around us, they all come running in, didn't they? They're shaking their hands because like I can shake their hands, I can hug them. They're coming running in, shaking their hands. I said to you, that was something fucking big. And apparently what it did, it attached itself onto the spinal column at the back, and it went all the way down the back, and it attaches itself, and then it attaches itself into the brain, and it thinks for you.
Like a
tells you what to think. Yep. It tells you what to say. It tells you how to feel.
Everything.
Horrible.
And then on TV, it went fucked up after that, and you could see where this thing had been taken out of people on TV, because I had the TV on, you could see it on their back. Where it had been taken out, it went like a purpley colour on the back where it had been taken out from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then there was this click, click, click. And this the way it used to communicate was like a click, click, like a bug. And it was like a click, 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 click. And it all of a sudden it went silent. It's the first time I heard it. And once I heard it, it fucking stopped. I was like, fucking hell, that's how it fucking communicates. I heard it once and it went silent.
Tiny. Tiny, and then it's like the worst. I mean, it's the worst sound.
Click, click. Yeah, it's almost like it had antennas that come out the back, on top of people's heads. I've seen it.
What it did to people was horrible. Yeah,
I missed the start of all that. Is this the black goo artificial intelligence?
Well, I've heard this since then. Yes. Because that's what I've heard how it works.
You want to know that?
I don't.
Sorry.
I think that we were talking about it last week. I think a lot of the things we do, all of us, is in the future. We've got to catch up to that timeline point. So we're doing all these things in the future before it actually happens, or before it actually gets there. So I said to you, it's quite interesting because time's going so fucking fast at the minute. It's like it's 2 weeks since we did the last podcast, something like that. So that 2 weeks feels like 24 hours ago.
I am surprised it's not. Things aren't blurring like in our peripheral vision. That things are going that fast, and it feels like it's picking up momentum. We're coming. When people think this is going to
Really
be the
fast.
end,
Yeah.
Really fast.
everything's going to be
I
fabulous.
don't ever know what day it is.
We're like that. What day is it? Thursday.
It's
Fucking
everything
hell.
now.
It is, isn't
but
it?
Yeah.
It's gonna
Every
be
time we
fabulous.
say, what day is it?
What
It's
day is it?
Thursday.
Yeah. I mean, I know you're working, Dermot, but have you noticed that time at work is going faster? Because that's where it usually goes really slow at work. Have you noticed it going faster?
I haven't noticed it going slow, but
No.
But what I have noticed is that I am so damn busy that I don't even notice time itself.
No, we don't.
Right. That's what my husband
We don't wear
said
watches.
too.
We never have done. Because watches are by with them. Yeah, we don't
Bill
wear
and I
watches.
can't wear watches. They die every time we wear them.
Oh,
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, we don't wear watches. Never have done.
It's not good for you.
Because
TikTok.
you got that second hand. Yeah, that second hand is a biorhythm. And that biorhythm is a TikTok. So you play dance music, you want to dance, slow music, you want to sleep. It's the same thing. It locks you into that 24-hour system. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like the Earth is growing. She's getting bigger.
Yes.
It is bigger.
Yes.
So I think there's probably 26 hours in a day now, an extra 2 hours. It just feels she's getting bigger. She's growing.
I don't know how. Maybe you do. I don't know how, but that is true. That is it. It's going to get bigger. It's going to expand.
Yeah.
I mentioned
not like
your perspective, okay, guys.
Which will knock the satellites out.
Not to interrupt you, sweetheart. I just wanted to ask Dermot. I wanted to make this comment. Dermot, I mentioned this to him. Crap, now I can't even think of it. You guys
see, that is a perfect example of.
I hate it when that happens. That's alien
too far in front.
That's why it goes.
That's why it goes.
It's just brain for our alien mentality, people. Now I can't think of it. It'll come to me and then I'll interrupt again, and I hope I can get in this time. And I didn't mean to.
Well, it is because this conversation has already happened. All you have done is jumped in front of the expanding self, and it goes, and then you go, oh yeah, because you caught up with the timeline.
We're
that's what I say
everywhere.
anyway.
We're all over the place. That's why our brains are so scattered.
Was it related to the time going, being so busy?
Yeah, I know it. Oh, yeah, it's about the ending. Like, everybody thinks this is the ending. I know that's what they're trying to portray, that other people are. Okay, this is the ending, but this is not the ending.
It's the beginning.
Beginning and the end. The end and the beginning. It's just constant.
Yes. Because we're just getting, it's going to be more people exposed to the truth. And then they're going to go, the light's going to come on, and then they're going to look at these, like, for these other idiots.
We might get 2 viewers then.
They're saying stuff like, hey, there's no vaccine out there. It's all placebo. And they were saying, no, it's all, there's no COVID. It doesn't matter.
But we might not.
And now people are catching on to it. And they're going, Well, yeah, we're the second wave of that part. Like, we're the second people that come in where they're going to go, oh, these people do have it figured out, but we don't figure it out either. Okay, we're in here just swimming around like everybody else.
People are talking different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
people are talking different. I've noticed that when I'm talking to people.
I'm glad, and I do see it too myself. I do see.
They don't look at you like you're fucking crazy anymore, do they? Some people.
No.
They're listening, but not listening. You know what I mean? They're
not completely boo-booing it. Right from
go,
are they?
No. I mean, that's a kick in the ass for a minute, really, because like at the end of the day, we've not had anything. Yeah, we can't go nowhere. They've had 2, they can't go nowhere. So it's like
it's hilarious.
It's fucking funny as fuck, isn't it? Really, in one way, it's like, welcome back.
To the gang. Yeah.
It's really right though, isn't it?
It's probably why they're not questioning it, because they're part of the gang now.
They're part of the gang again now. Do you mean? It is though, isn't it? Oh, you have one, you'll be fine. Oh, you might need 2. Yeah, that's it. You got your passport. Oh, you need that one, and then this one, and that one. Oh, and this one, and that one, and this one. It's like, fucking hell. How long is it before you go, I ain't going to.
not having any more.
I don't have any fucking more. I'm fucking rude.
I know. And I'm wondering that myself because I'm just sitting there going, because I know millennials. And I love my millennial children, but
although there must be quite a few people out there thinking, "Oh fuck." Yeah. Do you know what I mean? There must be quite a few people out there thinking, "Oh fuck." But I think getting your energy in the right place, getting your humour in the right place, seeing the funny side of everything, blah blah blah.
That's what we need. We need the unity, and then finding
you
the
step from this parallel to this one, yeah, and then the universe then hopefully can sort it out, isn't it?
Right.
Because Mother Nature, she's going to kick her ass. They all go around pretending, "Oh, we're the masters." At the end of the day, nature and everything else, yeah. Don't fuck around with her.
Right.
I said before, you can piss piss somebody off and stay out of the way, but if the whole universe is looking for you, fucking hell, you're fucked.
Do you know you said that the Earth's getting bigger?
Yeah.
Divine feminine.
Sorry, no, the Earth's getting bigger, right? But it's a lot bigger than it was in ancient times. And there's evidence here in Australia that the Egyptians visited Australia, and there's evidence that the Australian original people visited the Egyptians. Now, I mentioned this 2 weeks ago, but the point I'm trying to make here is the reason that they got here is because the Earth was smaller, and the trade winds got them here because they knew Mother Nature and they followed Mother Nature. It was easier to get here than it is today.
Probably work with it as well.
Yeah, and they worked with Mother Nature.
The more we connect to her, the more we connect to the mother, the more our collective connects to the mother, the stronger, and that she has to grow to fulfill the people that are connected to her. And then, because there's so many of us that are finding the mother, just comforting.
I mean, how do the birds migrate? How do birds migrate?
Yeah.
Who tells them? Who tells them?
Yeah.
The wind. Exactly.
The compass. Fucking map. Tom. Fucking hell, we struggle. You know, we struggle getting out of fucking Dorset. Where the fucking hell are we? We don't go past Salisbury anymore. We get a nosebleed. It's too high up.
Hey, if you don't leave the tether on, or it's heavy winds, you might end up in France.
Oh yeah, no, good fucking well done. It's only over there, John. So it's not far away.
God. I mean, did you guys see
John of the North. He lives in Halifax actually as well.
The protest video you sent, Lucy, the protest video you had shared, where it was all these different countries. You just mentioned one of the countries that were involved in that, and that was France. And before they weren't like, they were kind of hokey, But here, guess what? We all they fucked up. Y'all know you fucked up. Your elites fucked up. You found something that we found common ground. We found common ground. That's the biggest no for unity. But
we're far better place than we were 2 years ago.
I don't know to tell you. Ding ding ding. Where do you have fun, Johnny? Nothing.
Yeah. 2 years ago, we all thought it was all on our own.
On our own, yeah.
Isolated. 2 years ago, we all thought it was on our own, just going through what was going through. Where now we're in a far better place than we've ever been before. Because we're not on our own.
The evening that the country went in lockdown in March 2020 in Australia, I went out the front of the front door, and there was an angel. She was about 7 feet high, and she was dancing around like a ballet dancer, and she didn't think anyone could see her. And I saw her, and she saw me. And she gave me.
Yeah.
Oh my God. She gave me some
wisdom. Like this.
Yeah. And she was a bit surprised when she saw me. And we just got back from New Zealand the day before. So the whole country was locked down. We were very lucky. Thank you. And then I had this dream. Well, we left Australia, airport empty. We came back to Australia full of organised posters, COVID. You know, it was like 2 different places. We got back, we had the dream. I saw the angel. She was very, very tall, very, very angular, very healthy, very beautiful. She gave me this information. And at that point, we didn't know what was happening. We didn't just were fed the information from whoever. But she said to me about the waterways. And she said how the waterfalls, the oceans, anywhere there's water from Mother Nature, she said, make sure that you go, because you will gain perfect health and you will align with the frequency of nature. And so we were supposed to be in some form of house quarantine, but I took the family to the waterfall the next day. And then I understood what she was saying. And then I understood what we were saying earlier about the 2, fear and the love, the two sides.
Same with the salt bath, loving my salt bath, or that I
We
live
saw-
on a well.
We saw a little.
So
The
it's
water
like a
hitting
human-
the
We saw a little pixie, didn't we?
Well,
a little
it was a fairy, it was a ballerina.
Ballerina,
She was
tiny,
on our window.
tiny.
And she was dancing like she was waving like that constantly in one spot.
And she
Right.
had purple energy coming out of her
And-
constantly.
And she was pumping
Like
all this
that.
energy into the room, into
Purple
us
energy.
all the time. And she's just like that, dancing all the time.
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
Right.
at your window.
Oh, the window, yeah. Yeah.
At the window.
About that big. She's only about
She
this
was
big.
tiny.
She was tiny. I called her a little fairy. She was about as big as that. And she was in the window.
Right. She was a fairy, but
And then she was
tiny.
dancing with her arm in the air like she's waving like this. And this went on for days and days and days.
It did.
And the energy coming from her, coming
She was
into the room,
pumping purple energy
into the room constantly.
constantly.
Yeah.
She was
When-
beautiful.
when- Yeah. So when the water hits the earth, you're given all the minerals that the nature has for you. And from the old system, they don't give you that anymore. They put the water straight into whatever. It's not hitting the earth. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm.
So that your minerals within your body, it makes sense to me once she told me. I'm no scientist, but the angel was very clear.
Yeah.
Once
You're not getting the right
the-
minerals that we use all the time.
Yeah, and so
I think
we need those minerals to detox, to get rid of the shit in the body. But if we don't have the minerals in the first place, we can't get rid of them. So swimming in the ocean, under the waterfalls, drinking the springs.
This is why these big mining companies in Australia have basically poisoned the waterways in Australia.
So we can't get to them.
What is that?
Well,
Oh, tissue salt. Yes,
Tissue salt.
'cause I should have known. I needed that. I started taking salt baths because my body craved it. It needed the salt. It needed
It's got all the minerals that you're short.
As
That's
soon as I
combination
activated
one.
things changed in me, it's like I knew I started thinking about my diet. What am I eating that's going to be unhealthy? What do I do if I have to have something unhealthy? Like whenever I went in and they had to cut me full of antibiotics and whatnot when I had my surgery, I was like, okay, now what am I going to do? I'm get my mind focused for one, to flush it out. Whatever I need to find, my body will already know. I'll go shopping and I'll just get it. What I need to flush this crap out of my body because it's not supposed to be there. And I've already got that mindset. I mean, because I already got the mindset of like I've already told you. If we can heal, oh God, speaking of healing things. Okay, so like I've had this broken leg since COVID last year, like June, COVID 2020. I fell off the porch because my knee went out from under me. I also put a hole on the other side. Well, I didn't really realize my husband kept saying it was this color. Like he just said it was bruised. I'm like, it's just color.
That's
It's
just
color. It's
normal.
fine. Da, 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 da. So anyway, so I go to the doctor when I looked at my knee before that, and they were like, "Oh my God, it's been that long and it's still bruised." And I'm like, "Really? You see a bruise there?" Guess what's happening now? Because I've been listening to the major healing crap, too, it's turning yellow. I see now myself how it was bruised and it's turning yellow and fading away. After all this time that I've been listening to all this healing meditation too. So, I know that works. I really do know that healing, like 432 hertz, any music that is at the frequency and lower, and there's so many other frequencies. It is mind-boggling because they don't tell us that. These certain ones and these tones and then these binary beats. That that's one of the reasons why you liked it. It's raised because of the double beat. The double beat is what we
clubbing music, don't it?
Yes, we need to hear that. But if you talk to everybody,
back killers now, wouldn't it? Fucking hell.
When people hear,
imagine going raving for 20 hours. I get it, go.
When they hear that,
I get it, go. Going back though to that light and sound frequency, it was on one of our journeys. When you said it, I was like, wow. It was on one of our journeys, and what it was shown that the Nile was contaminated. Going back to the water, the Nile was contaminated, and the source energy from the mermaids or from the original female source energy had been stolen. And we was on this like timeline. So we got this timeline, and I says, we've got to chip and move. Remember? So I changed the timeline over, boom, and gave like a new. It was the original light and sound energy or frequency, yeah, but with a new timeline, moving us away from the Nile, because the Nile was contaminated.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Now, once I moved off this timeline, this energy came to me, and I remember touching it, and it spiked me right on the end of my finger, and it was a beautiful green diamond energy with like a white diamond around the outside, and it stuck into the end of my finger and then soaked in. I was like, oh fucking, should that have happened? But what it was, that was the original source energy from the Nile. And then once I had this bit of it, we got the rest back. Remember, we got the rest back. And when we got the rest back, we was able to put the two timelines back together again. But the original source, the original anyway, was first it was sound, and then the sound created the light. So it's like the boom and the light frequency. And then that was our original DNA. But we had to move the timeline over. And when we did that, the original source energy that was stolen, we were shown that the blue crocodile was what was put into the Nile. And the blue crocodile was this, I seen them in the sky. And they were fucking massive, these blue crocodiles. You could see them in the sky because the clouds are stuck to them. And as I looked outside, I could see them underneath the in the blue sky above us. And it's something to do with within the Nile, there was a blue crocodile or an energy put within it, which then was what contaminated and then taken the source energy away. And then we had to sit there. And I remember they opened up like a parallel universe, and they were sliding millions of these blue crocodiles underneath us into this, like, I call them like a drop box, like a parallel box, a parallel line, and they put them all in there and closed them, and boom, they was all gone. But they were big. The blue crocodile from the blue Nile crocodile. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody or whatever, but they were fucking big. I remember looking out the window going, fuck, weren't they? And you could see them all underneath in the energy form.
Crocodiles, but I can't remember what it was. I just literally had a dream recently about crocodiles, but I can't remember what it was about. But I remember there were crocodiles in it.
So
crocodiles aren't a bad thing.
Huh?
Because a lot of abracadabra was made out of crocodiles. A lot of the original abracadabra clock was made out of crocodiles, which makes sense because crocodile is the same thing. And I think, and also crocodiles got 365 teeth as well.
Oh, I've been shown the same things, but with different words. But I won't repeat what you've just said. But the clock and have you seen a turtle's back? So on a turtle, they have every turtle has 28 small segments around the outside of the turtle shell and 13 segments within the turtle's back, bigger segments. And there are 28 days between 13 moon cycles per year.
Wow.
Oh, the lunar cycle has come up a lot in my meditation. Somehow now I've realized we are on a lunar cycle. We are all on a lunar cycle. Us stars are on a lunar cycle.
Yeah, but I do feel like this has got to go.
I don't know what the hell it is.
There's so much to say about what you just said, Juicy, about the green diamond, about the stolen feminine energy, about the Egyptians and the First Nations of Australia. Yeah. There is a huge connection of energy, as well as when we harness, and we can harness quantum energy, when we harness that convergence of sound and light, of color spectrum of the rain, when we harness the energy of that rainbow spectrum and sound, because that rainbow spectrum is the light, that is the sun ray. When we harness that, we're carried, and we are carrying into the next timeline.
Well, if I can give you anything about that one, is we was part of this this sphere or dome, whatever you want to call it, above us, and I used to call it the rainbow sphere. And basically, the sort of like, if you can imagine, the arms that held the dome up was all out of rainbows, and it used to spin. So it's like, I used to call them like rainbow blades, and they used to spin anti-clockwise on the inside of the actual dome. Now, what happened was we was on a travel, and also it was almost like it was free falling, and we went bump, and we ended up in this like room, but it weren't our room. It's the same room.
It was like an ancient
place where we were, where language didn't well, there was no such thing as language. Yeah. So I don't know why I did it or anything else. So I was trying to communicate, and the only way I could communicate was with my hands, but it was this from the throat. It was this sort of communication from the throat here. This is the way I communicated. I don't know, but it was ancient times, and this where we were had been demobilized, or it had been attacked from underneath.
It felt empty.
It felt empty. And it had been attacked from underneath, but it managed to find itself onto a different level. So if you've got, say, 9 parallels, and then your 10th, it was on like the 11th parallel. It's on the top, out the way. So it was been there for a long time. You felt that
it'd been empty but
it'd been attacked from underneath. But it managed to get itself on. It was almost like it was in a starship, but this starship had been attacked from underneath, and it managed to find itself onto the 11th parallel. It had gone through out on top, and we went through onto this parallel, and we got taken there. And when we was there, I went, "I've been here before." And then he went, "Yeah, we have." And the energies we were working with, "Yeah, I remember being here before, but we had to leave and go." And they went, "Yeah, we did." So we're back again. But when I was back, I had to rebuild the rainbow dome. Now, what happened was all the rainbow domes were like hoops, and they'd all collapsed, and they'd lying flat, and all the dome was sort of rattling and flapping around. So I remember getting these rainbow domes and bringing them all back into the sphere point. But I says, well, but we repaired it with a brand new energy that we'd created or been working. And we rebuilt the whole thing with this brand new energy, and then put it together.
Oh my gosh! So every time you say the energy, and I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you, but I just have to say it is about the energy, and it's our
brand
words,
new.
and it's what we create.
I call it nuclear fusion energy. It was all.
Yes. Energy.
Everlasting.
And it
never runs out.
And it was all to do with that time when we were with the Abracadabra clock. We were sitting there and was messing around, because the creation of life is the splitting of the atom. If you split the atom, that's the creation of life.
the energy is the holy, divine, holy light of the connection of the divine feminine and the divine masculine of God and God and mother, the father and the mother finally getting united like they should be, and they were forgotten about for so long. But that is where the energy comes from, because of both of them, and we have it all. Like,
yeah, it's endless. It was almost like we was taken somewhere, and we kept getting the atom and splitting it, yeah, that many times to infinity, to the micro dot, and we hit it, didn't we? Fucking such a boom dome. Honestly, we sat there, it was off the tits anyway, it just went boom, and you felt it go out, didn't you? Like boom.
I actually saw it.
Bang! And it was almost like we were sitting in the middle of the block, and I was like holding the V to try and contain the boom, and it just went bang. But we was in a rainbow dome at the time, so it's almost like we rebuilt this rainbow dome to then through the whole universe. So it just constantly just keeps expanding through the universe, like. And then I sat there and went, and I had these 5 balls of light, blue, and each one sat on a finger. And I was like, fucking, because obviously we work in energy form, but it still has that nuclear fusion sort of feel to it. And I looked at these 5 balls, they're only like the size of a pea, and they sat on each one of my fingertips. I went, what the fuck? And also it just dropped into my finger, went, fuck me, is that fucking safe? Yeah. And then I was like, fuck me, where's that gone? But then also, I haven't got a thing, they wrapped a cord around my fingers. So it's like a figure of 8 went around all these fingers there. They wrapped all that around there. So I had that as well. It was almost like tools, wasn't it? Yeah. And then we through permutations and all the journeys we go on, we kept using it and using it. So we got the atom to the micro atom to the micro nothing. So you can imagine it was almost like it was a circle and a hoop, and them circle and hoops locked together, and then our stories go into them circles and hoops, and then that's what creates the domes in the universe, is circles and hoops.
You've been given so much wisdom, and the rainbow connection we will see around living objects soon. The actual spectrum of light that we're talking about, we'll see around.
You want to hear it? You want to hear it?
The mermaid line. Yeah.
The reason I say that, the reason I say that is because I've been seeing it, and I saw it. After, and I've had a couple of near-death experiences in my life, and last week I was unable to move. I couldn't stand up. I thought I was leaving the planet, and I called my husband home from work, and I wasn't sure what's going on, and we thought it was physical. When I woke up, it wasn't physical. It was like an upgrade, and I could see the rainbow light around objects now. And I wanted to tell you one other thing. What we're discussing now and the wisdom that we're being shown and realizing, this is being utilized within big systems, new systems, and people are calling on us to assist them with decision making, because we are the new intelligence.
We're teachers.
The feminine. We've been squished and squashed and told we don't do this and told we're not this and squished and squashed for many generations. But there is a really clear understanding of where we're going. And we need to look after our bodies, because when we were touching on that stuff before about we're not used to the 5 senses like other incarnations. So we must take care of our bodies, because when you're without a body or without form, or you're remote viewing, or you're near death, or you're out of body, you often look back at the body and go, what the heck is that for? This is so much fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I know.
The Rainbow Connection thing. Here's another mind blower about me, Rainbow Connection. Okay, there's a song called Rainbow Connection Kermit the Frog from the Muppets sang it back in the 70s. The Levers, the Dreamers, and me. Anyway, sorry about that. Don't want to bleed anybody's ears. But
Suppose you bring an album out, don't
my aunt was actually in a band, and
you could
she
bring
does
out just the Muppets.
very well. And one of her friends, her mate Andy, unfortunately, he has cancer now, but he was the co-writer of that song. He helped write it, but he's not listed. I don't know why, but he had something to do with that song. So that is another pointing there. Hello, the song Rainbow Connection, you know, like when you see the symbols we've seen for our whole
Definitely.
lives. You know, there's things it says to us, hey, wait a minute, we've seen that in our time in life. And you know, it's throughout, not just this life, but past.
Every experience. They were just trying to give us messages. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
The Weave of Evil, that pinched the fucking rainbow colours, isn't it? We went on a journey, and I used to call it the Weave of Evil. And it was like it was almost like all different strands of colour, and it got contaminated, and it twisted. It was twisted and twisted and twisted and twisted and twisted. It was knotted, so basically nothing could travel down. So it was almost like getting fiber optics and then twisting the cables around, you know, because obviously it's just like a glass, isn't it? And fired it down, and it was all different colours. And I call it the Weave of Evil, and it was twisted that tight. And the whole universe was twisted up with the Weave of Evil until it went bang. Now I think on our journeys it went bang, and then we've stood back from that particular point, held it in time, gone back to the beginning to actually why it went bang. And it's something to do with this Weave of Evil that got tighter and tighter in the universe and contaminated absolutely everything. So no one knows what the fuck's going on, because all these colour codings were all messed up. And we was there. Well, I remember we were stretching them out, and we were stretching it, all of it, and then emptying everything all back out, and he was taking back the colour codings out of it. Remember? And we was pulling it, weren't we? And draining the whole thing out, because we get pictures, you see. So the computer, I call it the ship's computer. You know, it's not on. It puts pictures in energy form on the screen, so I can watch what's going on. Because it relays it. It's almost like, I don't know if it's got something probably to do with the Akashic records, because Akashic is a place in space. It's a magical place. So I got shown that Akasha, or it's Akasha or Akashic, it's a place in space, which is where magic happens, where everything is, where everything
the records are that tells us
happens.
Where
we got taken there quite a few times, haven't we? For safety, or to keep us safe. And we sort of like our house becomes a vessel, like a starship. So we're traveling through space. We're actually traveling. You can't feel we're traveling.
Like
and we docked. We came in, didn't we? And all the energy guys were outside, and they had Akashic. The space around Akashic is very fine energy, very fine, sort of like space. It's not dark because it's space, and there was actually holding it up, weren't they? While we slid in and we came in and we docked, and they said we were right here because this is Akasha. I think so. I think Akasha is a place in space where magic happens, where the creation happens. Always has been, but it is far, far away. it's somewhere where no one knows where it is. It's completely detached from anything.
Yeah,
we've been taken there quite a few times. Akasha. It's really, and once you get in, God, you feel safe. But to get there, we're traveling. Oh, you feel the room. We were traveling through space for days, and we're just traveling and traveling and traveling. And I'm like, we're slowing down because you feel the speed, and it's like woo, and it starts to slow down, and then obviously it opens up, and then we go in, and it builds it around you. And once it's built around you, it goes out to the sphere, boom, and you feel so safe. It's unbelievable.
You don't ever want to leave.
Don't want to leave. You do not want to leave.
Stay there forever.
You think this is fucking wicked. We've made it because you're like
safe.
You're detached.
For the
first time ever, isn't it?
Yeah.
such a lovely feeling.
It is.
If I could bottle that feeling and give it away free, the feeling of you're home or you feel safe, and it's like done. Because on the last journey we went on, we remember we seen the fall of the old universe. We've seen it collapse. So basically, because we're part of the universe, we're what make it relevant to and from to be there because of who we are, all of us.
Yeah. Travelers.
So we are
what keeps it going.
We are what keeps it going. Yeah. So I said, we've all got to get out of this place so it can be shut down and done. So everything was contaminated, everything was fucked up, and the energies I was working with, which is the consciousness of the universe, which is an Earth, which now she's now a star planet Earth, because she's moved on from just being an Earth. She's a star planet Earth, and I thought I was going to fucking say I'm fucking in front again, aren't
I? Being safe,
yeah. And we managed to get the nuts and bolts of the universe from that place, and we brought it with us. We brought what we could with us, whatever it was, whatever we needed. It was what we needed. So we brought that out, and we jumped from sort of like they built like a star above us, like a sphere or star around us, and we jumped into that, and you could see it above us, and you could see the cloud formations that sit on the star are all like real nasty entities and nasty sort of like monsters and stuff made out of cloud formations or out of hydrogen and ice. And there's they try and sit on it and push it, don't they? So as they try and sit on it and push it to stop you going somewhere, they started falling off, and we just kept jumping from star to star until it started to clear, until we got free. And then once we got free, that's when we had like thinking that, right, we've left that universe and now we're into this one. I said, oh, we're going to drop that one. And they went, yes, we are. And they dropped the universe because we wasn't there, collapsed. It just went boom. We just seen the whole blue sky above us, which is like a star, just literally in blocks, almost like ice blocks, crumble. And as it's hitting the lid, what was above us, you see it hitting it and bouncing back, and we watched the whole lot go down. All of it.
We did.
Didn't we? And then I remember we stepped back, and I said, let's get the fuck out of here. And we remember we was in a starship or whatever, and we was traveling through just forever. And
a long time, just absolutely hauling ass. Yeah.
And we got back to this particular place, and when we got back in, the sphere come above us. We locked it all with the new technology and the new, as in energy form, locked itself in, and we just went up and up and up and up. And we went up for about a day, didn't we? And every time you go up, it's a parallel, and it's up and up and up and up and up. And we all got locked in up there. So literally. And that, I think, was the creator's line, or the line where everything's created from.
Yeah.
I can see us all laughing on our missions. I mean, like, you're crazy. Like, I see me and my husband, and I see Lucy and Juicy, and I see Dermot, and I see William and Judith. All of us are together, and we are the biggest cut up. We're hysterical. We can't help it. That's just what we do, and that's why we do it so well in this lifetime. That's why we are so good at it. Like, you're talking about dreaming things. Weird thing is, I just dreamed about Thor's hammer, and another person that follows, Norse mythology, which I started like studying, and I was intrigued by it. So that he is like one of my guides, which makes sense because I always bring the thunder. I never realized that, and I went, that makes sense. I bring the thunder when I come. I mean, I'm not mean about it. It doesn't have to be mean, but I'm like, boom, here I am. Hello.
No. Really?
But, hey.
But when we locked into where we were, wasn't it? There was this. It's almost like two big metal domes. It's what it sounded like. Went clunk, and you could hear it resonating everywhere. And I went,
it was the bestest noise I've ever heard.
Ever. It was like two spheres or whatever come together and it went.
It was like it was like a big metal thing giving us all a big hug, wasn't it? Like,
wasn't it?
protection and
yeah, it was like two halves of a bell coming together.
It felt absolutely amazing.
And we went, fuck.
If I could hear that every day, that'd be lovely.
Yeah, and it was like, and then you get this feeling of like, fucking that feels fucking awesome, because you can feel, when you jump from one place to another, you can still feel the evil coming through it. You can feel it, even though there's barriers put in. You can feel it. So when we jump to somewhere else, you go, "Ooh, that feels better." But then when you jump somewhere else, you still feel it in that one. So the evil had spread itself through all these different universes. Because every time we jump to somewhere, we're like, "Oh, that feels better." But then when you jump to another one, you realise it didn't feel better. And I'm like, "Fucking hell, how bad is this?" Because where you were is really fucking bad. Then you jump to somewhere else, so it feels really good. But then when you jump to somewhere else, you realise that place was really bad. It was like, fucking hell, just endless.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Am I just numb? But I mean, it's not feel as bad as the evil's not as thick now. I mean, am I just numb or
we're all at home. That's all I know. We're at home, and we're just down here in these thingies finishing it off.
We're always loved, and we are always safe now.
And I remember this is a little bit.
We're not allowed to leave the creator line. So this creator line, we're not allowed to leave.
Every
we have to be on that all the time. We're not allowed off it. So this creator line, where we create, wherever it's created, we're not allowed to leave that line. We can build parallels underneath that line to do a work, but we can't leave that top line, because that top line is everything. So we can create parallels underneath that top line, but we can't leave that top line.
No.
Okay, I'm going to have to leave now. Sorry, guys. I've got a bit to do. All
right, I love you. Have a great day.
Thank you, anything you'd like to say, Dermot, before you go? Anything you'd like to say before you go? Anything you want to...
goodbye.
Do we know where he lives? Hey, you're on the list. Mr. Manuel has put me on the list. Don't tell me your name, Pike, for fuck's sake.
Well,
thank you.
Look, I've got a lot to do today, so I need to get going. But it's been lovely catching up, and it will be quite a while now.
It's been lovely.
Definitely get on as soon as I can.
You're always welcome.
See you guys.
See you ladies.
Bye. Bye.
Would you like
Thank you so much.
Can I just say something as well, just so the viewers know what I talk? Well, when I talk about the weavers, and it's the weavers that create the universe because they weave everything in energy form.
Yes, because we're
creators. Your picture that you have on there, the gold section in the top right-hand corner looks just like the weaver.
Yes, and I tell you, when I was given the experience,
and that's their colour.
Yes, their colour. I tell you, I was given the experiences that you described, but my translation is with different words. So we talk about and so sometimes my words, I haven't got the exact word that I want to say, but we're given this experience, and you can see all the geometric shapes, but you can see it's almost like a flower. And I didn't know what the flower of life was, really. And those spots in between, those intersections. So when I was given the experience of life without form, I was shown that those spots, those interceptions are the experiences, are the movies, are the human experiences that we are connecting to make a life. To make a life. There's a lot of
that's where our energy technology connects is to make that human connection. We connect with them, and the more the love spreads, and that's what's happening, because that's how we win, is with unity, and everybody's learning that. Everybody's going, oh.
Those interceptions are the manifestations of the creation. They give us the tangible things, or the movies, or the experiences to behave in human form in those experiences. This is what you talked about a starship earlier. There are things called.
We've talked about this before. We have actually talked about this before. What you're saying, we have brought this up, and so yes, this is true. What she's saying, everybody.
So
right.
Yeah. So the control, what do you call them? What do you call the people that want to control the humans? What do you say? That they're trying to emulate this structure.
Wrong-uns.
Yeah.
They're trying to, inorganic ones are trying to emulate this structure, and they too have starships above us. And they're trying. Yeah, did have. Yes.
Yeah, we collected them.
And when we talk about the convergence of sound and light, we're not only talking about a narrow job to do, we're talking about
everything.
Exactly. It dissolves. It's like turning a light switch on. It dissolves it in a split, in an atom split. And
it's like,
it's not just to make us feel good. It's not just to make us feel good. It's actually doing something. Yeah,
because I realised to understand what nothing means, you have to understand everything about the something. So to understand about the something, you then realise that you understand what the nothing means, and there's more in the nothing than there is in the something.
Yeah, there's more in the nothing.
Oh, of course.
I can't believe you said that, because I just had this I just did a meditation, and that was, and I always say that, but it's true. I'm giving these messages, and then I come on, and then we all just start talking about, no, we do not rehearse this shit, so please get that out of your head right now.
You reversed it. I've been told that before. Do you write scripts? I'm like, what the fuck? We used to go out clubbing. I used to talk about a lot of this stuff when I used to go clubbing, and people thought I was writing a script.
No, not people.
No,
one person.
She actually thought
we wrote scripts, and then learnt lines all week, ready for the weekend.
Ready for the weekend.
She actually honestly thought that.
I'm telling you.
It's unbelievable.
I don't write scripts. I'm too lazy to write a script. Okay, people, I ad-lib everything, because
I can't even remember what day it is. Never mind what words I've got to say.
No. But I understand all that. I understand all them points. I understand, because on our journeys, every point, is a point in time of where we've been. And what happened was to reverse, to get energies or ourselves out of something. We got shown what we're doing is taking all them points, because the point is a point, it's the same point, putting all them points together and then creating the one massive random point with all the individual points within it. So we take control of all the points and then create the random point with all the points inside of that. And then if you can imagine.
This is why time isn't linear. There's no linear time. That's right.
No.
Sorry.
Random points. Random works. Yeah. So it was. So what it was, there was a lot of energies trapped on everything. So what we did was, we was taking a planet or a universe before it opened up, before it flowered, and was moving it off point, taking everything all out. Yeah. Before it happened, and then letting it go. Then walking the timeline in between, but we already had the resolve of what's going to happen to guide it in the right direction.
Yes. Before, sorry, yes, go.
But the thing was, I'm not just talking this universe or what's gone in this one. I'm talking of all universes from the point of time of where we've come from. Yeah, yes. a lot. I'm talking zillions of infinity time,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the Martians were a fucked up fucking race that caused the problem originally. Something to do with the Martians. Now I don't know if it's from the Mars or what, but they're a fucked up race. They've got like interchangeable heads. They're just fucking fucked up.
Do.
But now
not like you
what I did know was they share the same timeline and lifeline. So if you cut one there, 5 back, they all fall over. And we got shown that all these Martians were put into like a star and kept captive in there as there's being collected and there's put in there. But the ones that are here, because they share the same lifeline and timeline, the ones that have been captive within the star are living that life thinking everything is okay, but they're not, because they're trapped within this star. And we witnessed the end of this timeline when that star went bang with all the wrong ones inside it. So what happened was, this is where the tree of life came from. Everybody that had been wronged, what happened was the ones that had been captured, their timeline had been taken off them, and their lifeline was taken off them and given to the victim that they had wronged.
Yeah.
So they can live their lifeline, or it gives them that lifeline to get their time back.
They were rightfully deserved.
And then these were all on this, we call it the tree of death, because there was all lined upon it. There's all pinned to it. But then what happens is the tree of life, I think, my own personal thing, will come to an end. And then the tree of death will bloom as immortality, as the new tree of life. And that tree of life is one big, massive fucking universe of infinity.
And in layman's terms, that means it's the end
forever.
of the world.
So no one ever can pinch a tree of life ever again, because it's all been taken care of.
And so it's not a bad thing. So anybody thinks it's all going to end and that's it, and we're going to go out into existence somewhere you don't know. No.
And then the end is the beginning, and the beginning is the end.
That's right, and that's why people are grieving. Yeah, people are grieving because they think it's final, and what they think is final is final. The old way, the fear is leaving. You know, before I had my experiences, I didn't know that there was such a thing like destiny. I didn't understand what that was. I thought we could all create where we were headed. But when I was given this information, like really cellularly, it filled all the cells. I understand exactly what you're saying, Juicy, about the destiny of where we're going. Because these points, that's right, these points, and it goes infinite layers. Infinite, never stops. And the joy of seeing that. Joy, and it's just washing through. The joy of seeing that and know that there is no linear time. Know that everything is connected. Knows that the connection to that one point is connected to that point, connected to that point, connected to that point. You are very safe, because this is creation.
It's almost like all them points, different universes, and they're all being brought together as one and opening up as one random point.
Like a flower.
Boom.
Yeah, and just like they portrayed us on Star Trek, being the Q, the continuum. We are the real Q, not this Q that everybody falls off, psyop, whatever. We are the Q. We are the travelers. We're the ones that change. We're the ones that create things. But the way they portray them on Star Trek, we're not assholes. It's just, I think that that maybe those ones have the attitude because of what maybe that's what they wanted us to make us look like. That's what it is. They want us to look like we're jerks. They're not to trust us, but that's not even it at all. We're just here to help.
Dowdy doesn't. Dowdy means you're hiding something to protect yourself.
Yeah, we're just here to
Dowdy doesn't mean ugly. Doesn't mean it doesn't mean you're not confident. It just means that you're protecting yourself, ready to shine.
Exactly.
I'm so happy. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Good, anyway.
I'm so glad over talk you. I love
3
you.
hours.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's gone 3 hours, isn't it?
Love you.
Bye.
We'll
Love
tell you
you.
what, we're going to see you later.
Love you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
So I
Should we
guess
have
we're gonna wrap
Should
it
we have a
up. Then?
private? Should we go private? Should we go privet?
Sure. Let's wrap it up. Hey, everybody, be you,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
when you is you can truly become you. Bright blessings.
remember.
Love you.
You're already at home. I've heard the fucking
Yes.
party. We're already there. This is just
Yeah,
just
we're
a
at the perfect
very good
planet.
very good copy finishing the job off.
Gonna get a
Thank you
little
very
rough.
much, everybody.
Beamers,
Lots of love.
Beamers up Scotty. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Or doggy.
Thank
Bye.
you.